orúkọ mi ni Sunday Adéyẹmọ tí gbogbo yẹn mọ̀ sí Sunday Ìgbòho. Sàmọ̀gbẹ́tẹ̀ bá jọ ọmọ Ìbàdàn tó bá ń gbé kó wọ́n mọ̀ pé ní bàbá Ìbàdàn, wọ́n lè mọ̀ pé ẹlẹ́mìí àpè ní Ìbàdàn. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yẹn tó bá ń gbé ìlú òdì kejì tó bá jọ ọmọ bòmí ó kọ ìlú tó ti wá yẹn náà máa fi pè é níbi tó ń gbé. Èmi náà jẹ́ kan nínú ẹni tó kópa nínú ogun Mọdákẹ́kẹ́ àti Ifẹ̀. So ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tó bá gbọ́ sórí ogun yẹn tó ń gbọ́ gbogbo pa tí mo kó mẹ́rin pé ọkùnrin mẹ́rin ogun bàbá yẹn ń gba ogun ó ṣe báyìí ó máa ń jẹ́ kí ẹlòmíràn pé ọkùnrin ni, akíkanjú ọkùnrin ni. Gbogbo wa wàhálà Ládọjà àtàwọn bàbá dédé búmbàdàn náà, gbogbo àwọn tí wàhálà yẹn sojú wọn, wọ́n fẹ́ impeach Ládọjà, wọ́n fẹ́ yẹ Ládọjà ń pò, wọ́n fẹ́ gbàjọba lọ, wọ́n fẹ́ yẹ Ládọjà jẹ nǹkankan tí mi dẹ̀ dúró ti ń gbà yẹn. Gbogbo àwọn tó rí pa tí mo kó láti pé kí wọ́n mọ̀ rí Ládọjà yẹn jẹ́ ń gbà yẹn. Sùtẹ́lẹ̀ mi bá rí mi rí wọn pé ọkùnrin mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n nìyẹn bí wọ́n ṣe bọ́ta ṣe pọ̀ tó Ọlọ́run ṣẹ́gun wọn fún. Èròǹgbà mi lórí ìgbésẹ̀ àwọn Fúlàní yẹn ni pé ẹnu Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ kò. Tí wọ́n bá mọ̀ pé wọ́n fẹ́ ká bá Fúlàní jà, káwọn bàbá wa, gbogbo àwọn ọba wa, gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa wọ́n ṣáájú kàn pè wá sí mítì kan dẹ̀ fún wa pé tó àwọn ọmọ yìí o kí ròyìn dé sì gbé kí gbogbo ayé rí pé tó àwọn ni wọ́n sọ pé tó ká kojú wọn gbogbo ibi tí yàrá ti fẹ́ jẹ Yorùbá ká fèsì ibẹ̀. Ọlọ́run mọ̀mọ̀ mú wa, agbára mélòó wà làwọn Fúlàní wa ní, wọn ò tó ń tọ́ ń pera wọn, wọn fọlọ́gbọ́ra fún yín, wọn ò tó ń tọ́ ń pera wọn. Ọlọ́run bá lódùmarè ń gbọ́. Ṣùgbọ́n tá a bá ní nǹkan tí àwa náà ní lọ́dọ̀ àwọn bàtà jogún náà bàbá ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lò ń sìn ká bọ́ta wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ lóko míì. Táwọn bàbá bá mọ̀ pé yà ń jẹ àwọn Yorùbá kàn pe gbogbo wa sí mítìn, kàn pe Ọọ̀ni, kàn pa Láàfin, kàn pa àwọn bàbá Àwùjalẹ̀, gbogbo àwọn ọba yẹn tó bá jókòó kàn wá pè wá, kàn invite gbogbo wa wá. Ọlọ́run bá lágbára, èmi ò tó nǹkan kan, àwọn tó tún lágbára jù wá tó pọ̀ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ kàn pe gbogbo wọn jọ. So tí ń sìn tó máa pè wọ́n jọ tó bá mọ̀ pé lè kan lu wa náà ipá náà sì lè ní pátá lè kó kọ́ pè wá káwájọ jókòó káwo bá ṣe fẹ́ ṣe tí ò ní sí nǹkan kan ẹ̀mí gbọ̀n kankan mọ́. Ẹlòmíì bá ń gbọ́ gbòó ni kò kúrí mi rí, ẹlòmíì á ní ó lè kọ̀máǹdì mọ́, ó lójú àwọn tí mo ṣe lójú wọn rí, ẹlòmíì á ló lè ṣe báyìí, ẹlòmíì tí bá ṣe kan lójú ẹ̀ yóò sọ 10 ṣé nǹkan tí mo sọ yìí, ẹlòmíì á sì ní ẹnu ni. So àwọn tí wàá mọ́ sọ pé nu nìyẹn, èmi mọ́ bẹ́ lọ́n kí nǹkan dẹ́mi àti wọn pọ̀ wọ́n lè rí pé kì í sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀nà. Ṣùgbọ́n pé kẹ́nìkan wá lóhun dìde ṣe èmi ìwọ ni mi Sunday Igboho mo wá bọ́ ọ̀tá o. Àbá nígbà tí wọ́n bá fi dọ̀tún la Buhari ó pàṣẹ láti Àbújá, sọ́jà tí ó ka mọ́ta nkìdé yóò ju tó gun Boko Haram tó ń jẹ́ ilẹ̀ Haúsá lọ. Wọn ò ríra wọn bẹ̀ yẹn, tá a bá dẹ́rẹ̀ wò nísìn ẹ̀ rí i pé wọ́n yìí máa lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo táwọn ń ṣe ilẹ̀ Haúsá tó ń mú jẹ yẹn, tá a bá dẹ́rẹ̀ wò nísìn wọ́n yìí máa lọ́wọ́. Torí pé àwọn Yorùbá kan náà ni ó lọ bá wọn lọ́hùn tí wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ọmọ bí wọ́n ṣe wọ́n ṣe nu pa ẹ̀ làwọn ọmọ ayákìlá làwọn ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n yẹn ta la parí ta ìyá yóò la parí ìbíjà iná làlá fẹ́ gbé. Ó tó fi gba sùúrù nìyẹn, ó gbọgbọ́n kì í ṣe nǹkan tí yẹn kàn kágbádá ọ̀run tó kó funpa tó kó lóńdè tó gbé bọ̀kọ́ tó lọ́fẹ́ lọ pàdé Fúlàní o. Bí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ wọ́n sọ di nǹkan mímọ́ yẹn lọ, àfi kéèyàn jókòó kó lọ́wọ́ àwọn bàbá yẹn, táwọn bàbá yẹn ó ṣèwé kán sáyìn fún wa pé àwa la ṣèwé fún yín pé ìyà gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ Yorùbá gbogbo bíkíbi tí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá dé ẹ lọ ṣàbò lórí ẹ̀pọ̀ àwọn ọmọ tẹ bá mọ̀ ń bẹ kẹ́ ṣàbò. Àwọn ọmọ ń bẹ ńlẹ̀ bàbá mi, àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ń bẹ ńlẹ̀ tí wọn ò ní sá rárá. Àwọn ọmọ tẹ́ ìwòtán jókòó, àwọn ọmọ tẹ́ ìwòtán jókòó wọ̀nyí wọ́n yìí sọ wọn ìṣẹ́ ẹran rírọ̀ but ọgbọgbọ́n àlèkẹ́sọ pé ẹ mọ lọ sí Ìkirè bí tí wọ́n ti ń kidnap Yorùbá, ẹ mọ lọ Òṣogbo, ẹ mọ lọ Ìlọrin, ẹ mọ lọ sí yóò di nǹkan mímọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Tó bá ti dá àwọn lójú pé àwọn làwọn bí wa, àwọn sì làwọn bàbá àwọn ni bàbá wa lẹ̀ Yorùbá ń bí, wọ́n sì ṣe bàbá burúkú, wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ̀dàlẹ̀ bàbá tí fi àjọ mọ́. Káwọn náà bá gbádá rẹ̀ kàn ó tì wá síwájú bàbá lọ bàbá nílọ, káwọn bá gbádá rẹ̀ kàn ní ká nìṣó níbẹ̀ bàbá lọ bàbá nílọ. Báwọn gángan ò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ torí táwọn bàbá àkànnà ń bẹ tó ń gbà ń bẹ̀ àwọn oníṣẹ́ jù báyìí lọ. Bọ̀ táwọn bá jẹ́ bàbá dáadáa tí wọ́n dẹ̀ fẹ́ fi àtúbọ̀tán rí lẹ̀ fáwọn ọmọ wọn, kò yẹ kí wọ́n gbàbọ̀dẹ̀ fún Yorùbá, kò yẹ kí wọ́n pè wá ká bọ́ ta ni káwọn dẹ̀ dúró tì wá pé ó yẹ nìṣó níbẹ̀.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọmọ ọ̀dọ́ tá a jọ ń káàkiri ọ̀dọ́jọ́ ni wá, ẹ má jẹ́ kí a fi àyè gba Fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ àwọn bàbá wa, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú ọba mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú jòyè mọ́. Nígbà tá a la fẹ́ jà fún àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ wa táwa ń kọ́kọ́ ń bú ọba tá à ń bú jòyè, èmi náà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rí bọ́mọ pẹ́rẹ́ àmì padà. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́, ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan. Àwọn ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀, ọba ò lè sọ, ìjòyè lè sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá jà mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ bú wọn mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ àṣẹ wọn ra wọn la pẹ̀lú wọn. Àwọn àgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rìn wá lọ́wọ́ á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni à ní bú wọn mọ́. Ẹ má jẹ́ àṣejẹ̀gbọ́n, ẹ má jẹ́ àdàlúrú, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú. Gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà mi ò rí ibi tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́. Mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tó lọ́n fún yẹn lọ́lọ́run fún mi. Mi ṣe tálákà tó tẹ́ pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá. Big man ni mi, àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀. Pé sọ́wọ́ lè mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́, mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ. Kí n wọ gbowó, kí n gbéra, kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba àgbowó, mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin gbowó, kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀, kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀, kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró títì, kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ. Àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́, wọn ò lè lóńdò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn, ká dá security ti wa lẹ̀, ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í, ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́, Jésù Olúwa wa.
Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwa sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìníhùn ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán, ọgbẹ́jẹ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè gbó Odùduwà.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wa.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀mí ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀mí, ṣẹ́yìn lọ máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ kájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ, àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
We bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ òòtún kan kí oko lára ni.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ni bàbá o.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Òdúdú alágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sódì kẹta.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Àdúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, we bring you up closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ni bàbá.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
To give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Five 2024. It's coming up to 2 p.m. local time in London. My name is Ola Yomi Koiki, one of the campaigners of the Yoruba self-determination under the leadership of Professor ADEBANJI AKINTOYE. Also under the leadership of Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho. Also working under the leadership of Otumba Demola of the YSDM, the deputy of the YSDM. We stand for the Yoruba self-determination. I welcome you once again into this Sunday broadcast, and I hope that we can learn and share more information and reasons why the Yoruba people needs to now start thinking about exiting Nigeria. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko níbi tí ẹ bá ti láǹfààní àti tó fẹ́ gbọ́ wa pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sí orí ètò ti tèmi. Èyí á máa jẹ́ ọjọ́ 5 nínú oṣù 5 ọdún 2024. Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọlá Yomi Koiki tí gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ sí Koikimedia. À ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún bàbá wa Professor ADEBANJI AKINTOYE. Àwọn ni olùdarí àti leader fún the Yoruba self-determination campaign tí à ń ṣe. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni à ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún bàbá wa Dr. Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ tí gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ sí Sunday Ìgbòho. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni à ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún Ọ̀túnba Démọ́lá the YSDM. Mo kí yín bí ẹ ti ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, bí ẹ bá ṣe ń wọlé ní méjì mẹ́ta, ìtẹ́yìn lè ṣe fún wa ni pé kẹ́ bá wa máa pín ètò náà kó lè kárí ilé dáadáa. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ mọ̀ YSDM. The YSDM literally stand for the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Àwọn ni wọ́n ń darí movement. àwa là ń polówó movement. So tẹ́ bá ní ìbéèrè bóyá nǹkan kan tí ẹ fẹ́ béèrè tí kò yé yín nípa movement èyí tá a bá gbọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ YSDM àti ìlànà àgbéwá sórí broadcast. But ó ṣe pàtàkì ó ṣe kókó pé gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá lóun nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí pé ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà látara the insecurity tá a fi sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí, látara pé a fẹ́ padà síbi tí a wà tẹ́lẹ̀ kó tó di pé àwọn òyìnbó amúnisìn. O ò lè ní òun ṣe Yorùbá nation just like àwọn tó ń ṣe APC, gbogbo wọn lọ ní branches tí wọ́n ti fi operate. Tó bá wá sọ pé èmi ṣe Yorùbá nation, ó wá sí ní abẹ́ àwọn kan, á jẹ́ pé òun dá ṣe tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ tí wọ́n set up, it was after tí bàbá Akintoye tí wọ́n gbé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation síta nígbà tí a lọ sí UNPO. Everybody has a right to have different organization. Ẹgbẹ́ tí ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ká tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá nation, àwọn ẹgbẹ́ yẹn ṣì wà. But lórí self-determination tá a gbẹ́nu lé lórí pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà, ó yàtọ̀ sí ẹgbẹ́ APC. Eléyìí ò kì í ṣe political party, kò kì í ṣe PDP, kò ń ṣe Labour Party, kò dẹ̀ ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú Sowore AAC. Self-determination ni wọ́n ń pè léyìí. The inalienable right, ẹ̀tọ́ ọmọ ènìyàn pé ibi tá a wà yìí kò ń ṣe ibi tó yẹ ká wà. Òun ni agbédání. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ tó máa ń ní ẹ̀yin oní Yorùbá nation, ẹ̀yin Yorùbá nation ní bá ti ṣe gbọ́ ní Ṣàgámù ní aago 5 wọ́n tún jí àwọn kan gbé. And the question is, níbo làwọn governors wá wà? And please don't ever tell me to speak in Yoruba because I am not speaking to you alone. This is an international platform. A máa sọ Yorùbá, a máa sọ èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì. Èyí tó bá gbọ́ nú ẹ̀ ni kò gbọ́, èyí tó bá gbọ́, I cannot help you out because I am not communicating to you alone. So I welcome you all into the program, and I welcome my family that tolerates and allow me to be doing what I'm doing, even though there's a lot of inconveniences within the studio back in the house. There's a lot to touch around. I will not be mentioning your name, but I welcome you. Share the program. That is the only thing you can do. I will appreciate everyone towards the end of the program. Aki gbogbo ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátápátá. And we hope that they will continue to engage with our governors and the current president about the insecurity tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá and how that can be rectified because àìtí kúrò nínú Nigeria. There was a security summit that took place, not too long ago in Ile-Ife called the Security of the Yoruba People. Àìtí mọ̀ tó tún fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ after that. But it seems that nothing seems to have been done after this summit. It is good táwọn bàbá jáde tó fún wa ní hope. A fẹ́ kọ́ fún wa ní hope yẹn délẹ̀, a fẹ́ kọ́ fún wa ní halfway. Lóòótọ́ àwa kan ò sí nílé, but in tó bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọmọ Yorùbá kan, ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí gbogbo wa náà ni. Whether they agree with self-determination or not. And the question today is, what is our governors doing when it comes to the insecurity in Yorubaland today? What literally is their role? Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ will always come up and say, àwa tá à ń ṣe Yorùbá nation, kápá àwọn èèyàn síta, kápá wọn wọgbó, bígbà tó yẹ pé ẹ train wọn bí military, àbẹ train wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọlọ́pàá láti máa wọnú igbó láti lọ kọlu Fúlàní, àbí ẹ fún wọn ní ìbọn àti ọta àbọn tó fi lọ kojú Fúlàní nínú igbó. It is the responsibility of the governors and the deputy governors and those that are our representative, right as Nigeria is still an operating country, to protect both the citizens and the foreigners that don't be. But it seems that is not being taken care of. So, tá bá wo ìgbà tí wọ́n ṣe summit tí wọ́n ṣe láìpẹ́ ní Ile-Ife, the 2024 Yoruba Security Summit, kí ló sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí? Kidnapping, banditry, overcoming many of the problems and the obstacles tí kò jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn lè rìn from point A to B. Many people, whether they are Yorubas or non-Yorubas, as long as you are passing through certain Yoruba network, you are likely to be kidnapped. Ó lè ní Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹ, àwọn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí náà, àwọn náà sọ pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wọn, but yet it eventually happened to them. So I am asking the question today, where is our governors? And what role are you playing to make sure that the Yoruba land will continue to be secure from those that have literally captured the whole Yoruba land? Not too long ago, we saw the Afenifere visited President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and as much as they might not align with our own self-determination campaign, but the question I would have expected them to be asking the president is, what is he doing when it comes to the insecurity in the Yoruba land? Teba wo the image on your right hand side, 2021, criminal herdsmen have killed 4,000 farmers in Southwest in 6 years, according to Okikiola Farmers Association President General. Teba wo number here, it might mean nothing to you. That means that we've lost people that have been able to give us food, whether in the small scale or the big scale. Àwọn àgbẹ̀ ń jáde, wọ́n ń kígbe, wọ́n ń pariwo pé kó jọ̀ọ́ kó gbà wọ́n. Wọ́n ní ká bá wọn bẹ bàbá wa Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ kó jọ̀ọ́ kó wá gbà wọ́n sílẹ̀ látara crime tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá lénìí. But it seems that the deaf ears of our governors, they are not listening. They've decided that they don't care about the citizens, but the citizens continue to maintain law and order. We are not going to say anything that will bring where citizens will confront the governors, but it is the right of the citizens to ask questions. Látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn governors wá pé kí ni responsibility yín gan lórí wa? What are your responsibility from Kwara State to Kogi State, to Ondo State, Ekiti State, Osun State, Oyo, Lagos, and Ogun State? Many of our farmers are now concerned. From the economic situation of Nigeria right now, tó tún dá kí farmers má lè lọ sínú oko láti lọ ṣe nǹkan ìgbìn, àbẹ́ni tó kàn travel tó di pé wọ́n kidnap ẹ̀. Please let us ask this question. Ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wo la ṣẹ̀ fáwọn governors wa? Kí la ṣe fáwọn representative wa that they become so adamant not to listen to the insecurity that is currently taking place in the Southwest today? We know that there's so much problems across the country. Expectation of many Yoruba is that nígbà tí Tinubu ti débẹ̀, there will be hope that things will change. We have now the Inspector General of Police, that is a Yoruba man. But yet, it seems that they've not been able to curtail the insecurity in the Southwest and every other part of Nigeria today. Those that are struggling in the first place, then have to come out with so much money that they don't have to borrow, sell off their properties so that they can be able to survive. Is this how we are going to continue, and we are all going to sit back and do nothing? Lóòótọ́, we don't have anything than the voice that we are using from the little space that we have 3,000 miles away. But we know that they are listening to us. So mo tún fi àsìkò yìí mo fi ń bẹ bàbá wa Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀, Ọjájá II, the paramount ruler of Yorubaland. Mo kí bàbá wa Awùjalẹ̀, and happy birthday to you, and as you celebrate the 64th anniversary of your coronation. Mo kí bàbá wa Aláké, Ewé of Odo, Edo, and many of you like that we might not be able to mention, all the way to Igboho and the rest of all the cities and towns and villages where we have all our urbans. Bí akẹ́tù tètè ṣúṣe pàdé mi, ẹ fún wa ní àṣẹ, ẹ gbé ohùn síta kí àwọn èèyàn lè wọlé ti àwọn rábì. Ẹ̀yin lẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ ká máa tẹ̀lé. Because táwa bá jáde nísìn, they will tag it as something else and everybody will start saying, àwọn Yorùbá nation yẹn ló tún ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ wàhálà. But we know that tẹ́ bá fún wa ní that order, àmọ́ pé látọ̀dọ̀ yín ló ti wá. And it has to be done where the press will be informed. Because tọ́lóyè bá jáde nísìn, tí gbogbo wa bá jáde nísìn, wọ́n ní wọ́n tún ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ wàhálà, wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ dàlúrú ni. But the people that are pleading on a daily basis, that are concerned, it seems that the Fulani terrorists have literally overpowered all the security in the southwest. But kò sí bó ṣe fẹ́ overpower wa if we go after them. But we can't go after them if our kings are not giving the go-ahead. People are crying on a daily basis. We saw what happened at Ilepo, where many lives were lost. And when I say many lives, because gbogbo ẹni tí business is about to collapse, their life is lost already. Is this how we are going to all sit back and do nothing? And everybody is pretending as if nothing is happening within the southwest. The elite, the influencers, the musicians, the artists, the actors, the actresses, the who and who within the Yorubaland refuse to speak out. Are we all going to be like these and do nothing?
What we face now is challenges of terrorism, security of lives and property that is very, very necessary for development and good results. And we have been battling that. I can tell you this afternoon that we are achieving success. There's improvement from hosting flags on the Nigerian properties and sovereignty. We have degraded terrorism to a level that they could not threaten the sovereignty of this country any longer. Well, it is always hard to defeat economic opportunity that might open up in this type of challenges, particularly when the country is equally challenged economically. So, the banditry kidnapping that they've resorted into will also be defeated. I declined any ransom method, no payment of ransom whatsoever. We are taking the battle to them, and we are getting results more rapidly than ever before. The case of Kuriga and many other kidnapped children is evident in the way we rescue them from Sokoto to Katsina to Kaduna and others, now more expeditiously than ever before. We are working hard on intelligent gathering and execution of our programs. Those that might thought they can threaten the sovereignty of this country will have themselves to blame. They have a price to pay. And we are not going to relent in that area. We have the solid mirror that has attracted a lot of insecurity, scavenging, and others. Then we have special forces that is facing that now. We will have an effective forest guards that will be, fully in control of our forests in the country. But first of all, we must tackle the desperation of our youths, particularly the young ones, by following a cardinal program that brings relief to the parents of our future leaders. That's making the education as a tool and a strong weapon against poverty. To do that, we have to invest in the future of our youths. That is why the key point, I'm glad you are alive, Papa. One of historical thing you did in politics with Chief Afenifere was invest seriously in education. And we've seen a problem that parents are facing in paying the tuition fee of their wards. Therefore, we have established student loan. Even though there might be free education in some areas and, but to nationally fund education while we are going on, means of transportation, accommodation, tuition, and all of that could be problems to people withdrawing from the higher institution. And we established the student loan, and we tell you it's taken off, and taken off well, seriously. To equally follow the path of social welfare, we are equally examining what to do with high degree of unemployment. When we cannot use any other method, we must help vulnerable families who have children unemployed. How do we do that? But enlist them from NYC up and pay some living allowances to them called unemployment compensation. We are equally looking at how we stimulate the market, the purchasing power of people, and as well at the same time fight corruption. Why, before we got here, you have a former accountant general, they discovered billions in his account. And tinkering with various payment schemes and others. In fact, contractors being exploited, vouchers being altered. We have taken action, and you will soon hear the funding of consumer credit. If you eliminate the cash requirement to buy a car, to even buy a motorcycle, if you eliminate the demand for cash to even furnish a house, or to look for cash to get a house by itself, even if it's a shared house without furnishing. If you use consumer credit to control that, you will reduce the propensity for fraud and irregularities and corruption. So it's a dual carriage fight, and we are about to move on that scheme. And I promise you, our focus is that, and we will not let you down. God bless. God bless Nigeria. God bless our unity in diversity. The diversity must bring prosperity for the sake of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Self-determination. Under Article 3, indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination. By the virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. You just listened to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the courtesy visit of the Afenifere, as he spoke about the insecurity, the economy, and so many of so. But before we move further, let us read this small page that was sent to us from one of our brother and one of the campaigners of the Yoruba self-determination, as we continue to use all means to educate our people. And it goes like this. Once again, a very good afternoon. If you're new to the platform, this is a platform that discusses self-determination only. And as we continue to use that platform to educate people around the world, and the reason why our quest will be respected. And it goes like this. Unity and peace, the journey to a sovereign Yoruba nation. This was put together by Dr. G.M. Adeyeye. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the Yoruba community, this serves as a swift reminder of a dream that ambitions the Yoruba people, thriving in a nation uniquely their own, where our values, culture, and aspirations govern society. A profound Yoruba proverb: when there is peace in a family, the illegitimate child is yet to become an adult, resonates with me as we stand on the cusp of a potentially historical transformation. This proverb is not merely a reflection on familiar relations, but a broader commentary on the complexities that come with human interactions. The presence of an illegitimate child, as referred to in the proverb, symbolize the challenges and the discrepancies that often lie dormant within seemingly peaceful progress environment. It is only when the child grows and begins to assert their presence that the underlying tensions might surface, challenging the facade of tranquility. This is saying holds a deep truth about our previous encounter in a pursuit of our nation. We embark on the Yoruba nation agitation because we believe in a cause that the Yoruba nation deserves recognition, autonomy, and respect. Our journey towards this goal has not been without its challenges. Like a family that seems peaceful until it faces its members' growing pains, we too have encountered our trials. We have seen divisions like the proverbial illegitimate children. We have yet to stack their claim, creating tensions that test our collective resolve. Yet, it is by addressing these challenges openly and peacefully that we can forge a stronger, more unified future. Historically, precedent of a peaceful resolutions to the struggles similar to ours should inspire us consider Finland in 1917, a nation that achieved its independence not through the ravages of war, but through the path of peaceful negotiation and a firm resolve. The Finnish people stood united, their vision clear, and their method peaceful, proving that it is entirely possible to achieve nationhood without violence. We too can achieve these. We, the Yoruba people, can establish our nation on the foundations of dialogue, respect, and mutual understanding. Our strength lies not in warfare or conflict, but in our unwavering commitment to our cause and our ability to come together as one people, even in the face of internal disagreement. As we move forward, let us not grow weary. Let us not lose heart. The road to self-determination is a long and fraught with obstacles, but it is a road that many of us have walked with success. Let us draw strength from our rich heritage, our shared history, and our unbreakable spirit. Let us remember that the legitimacy of our aspiration is determined not by the presence of dissent, but by how we address and incorporate the diverse voices within our community. To those who doubt the possibility of achieving our own nation peacefully, let us remind them of the power of steadfast, peaceful perseverance. Let us show them that, like the Finnish, we can define our own destiny without destruction. Therefore, let us stand together, not as a disparate groups divided by minor differences, but as a united front that values every voice within our community. With peace as our weapon and unity as our strategy, we would achieve the Yoruba nation dream. We will construct a future where every Yoruba akin to every family member receives recognition, respect, and their rightful position within our society. Together, without war, we would achieve our nation. Let this be our pledge. Let this be our legacy. Thank you so much, Dr. G.M. Adeyeye. Let me give you some of the headlines as we have them when it comes to the insecurity in Nigeria today. Banditry is now business venture for government officials, security agency. This was said by the Katsina governor, Radda. A 46-year-old Nigerian law professor killed by bandits in Benue State. Gunmen kill Kaduna community head, set houses ablaze after cutting away property. Gunmen kill popular archbishop, the wife, son, and 4 other clerics in Anambra State. We are not aware of our officers packing Lagos residents in buses to Osun State. How did we get to where residents, the Yorubas living in Lagos State, are now being moved out of Lagos State by Governor Sanwo-Olu, out of Lagos State back to Osun State, when we have Fulani terrorists creating havoc in Ile-Epo, creating damage and property worth millions of naira? The Lagos State governor is not taking them back to the northern part of Nigeria, but yet the Yoruba people are being moved out of Lagos State back to Osun State as if we are not Yorubas and we don't have the right to be in Lagos State. This is a concern to many of us, that why is the current governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, giving the order that people that are Yoruba origin, people that are indigenous people that should be in Lagos State, are now being packed in buses and returned back to Osun State. These are questions and reason why Yoruba people that are not in support of self-determination should start thinking that you might one day wake up and you might not even have the right to be living in Lagos State. Nigerians are in a hurry to see a positive change, Sultan of Sokoto tells President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many insecurity that is happening in Nigeria today are well known, well documented, but yet it seems that everybody kept quiet because of one reason or the other. Let's listen to this. This was one of the appearances about a month ago when Nnamdi Kanu told us that the insecurity in the southeast can be ended in 2 minutes when he's released. The question then is, who is scared of the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the IPOB? Rendition kidnapped by the Fulani terrorist, former President Muhammadu Buhari. We are now aware from what the governor of Katsina is saying, that the business venture of the terrorists happening not just in the north, around Nigeria, is a business venture for government officials. Nnamdi Kanu said so. Remember that Nnamdi Kanu do not have a communication line with the Katsina State governor. The Katsina State governor is saying the same thing that Nnamdi Kanu told us about a month ago. The question then is, who are those that do not want Nnamdi Kanu to be released so that the insecurity in the southeast can be ended? Let's listen to him as he gave this during his presentation at appearance in the court a month ago.
And they know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. They are making money with insecurity. That's correct. They are making money with it. They know now the Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. Who is the idiot? Who is the bagger? That will speak when I'm talking. Who is the fool? Who is the idiot? I ask. That I give an order in the east, and any idiot will counter it. Who is the bastard? I'm asking you. So, sir, nobody can.
Sir, are you against?
I'm not the Kanu. No. Who is the idiot? Form of violence or insecurity in the southeast in the name of IPOB is a gun, and they know that. Let me come out of this nonsense, this mess. 2 minutes only. Only 2 minutes, I guarantee you. And the peace in the east, not just southeast. Everywhere in the east, not the entire south. Huh? They know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. They are making
some people in government are complicit. This was the word of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu about a month ago. But it seems that as at the time that Nnamdi Kanu was saying so, many Nigerians did not accept or believe. But it's now clear that not just Nnamdi Kanu telling us, we now also have evidence by the Katsina state governor, and this is what he said.
Thank you so much for your time tonight. My question earlier is that are there political motivation for the rise of banditry in the the northwestern region of the country? Who are those that are backing or supporting or fueling banditry in the region? Your Excellency, can you hear me?
Yes, please, can you repeat yourself?
All right, so I'm saying, my question is, who are there those who are backing and politically motivating banditry in the northwestern region?
Thank you very much. There are so many insinuations as to what causes the banditry in our region, but to me, and to my understanding and from the little knowledge I have, being the governor of the state for almost a year now, I understand that the issue of the hypothesis behind political motives about banditry is not true. I think purely what causes banditry in our place, the root cause of it was injustice. There were a lot of injustices that were done on the planet which causes this problem to spring over time. This thing has been with us for a very long time, and it has started small, and it has grown big now. And then there are some collaborators from the houses who are staying within the towns, who are serving as the providers of logistics to those bandits. But the issue of the hypothesis behind there is some foreigners involved, there are some people from the foreign land that are coming to inflict this thing on our people is purely a political statement by some people who just want to use that as a political goal to them. In the issue of security, then secondly, what also causes the recruitment under the logistics services for the bandit was as a result of poverty. Because surprisingly, with 2,000, 5,500 naira, you can be able to convince some of the youth to join into this exercise, which brings about money. And now it has turned out to be a business venture for the criminals and the business venture for also some people who are in government and some people.
You heard that clearly. It is a venture for some people in the government. So it shows and indicates, those of you that are waiting for the MixLR, give us another 30 minutes and the MixLR will be on. Bear with us. Once again, my name is Koiki. This is Koiki Media, bringing the work closer to your doorsteps. As we continue to try to find out why there is so much insecurity in Nigeria and the Southwest, it is due to the fact that many people are taking advantage of the terrorism happening in Nigeria from the outsider and the insider. And this is a current governor speaking to Seun Okinbaloye, the governor of Katsina State, giving us and telling us exactly what Nnamdi Kanu said in that previous clip that we showed and played to you, that it seems that it is just that the government officials are involved in the insecurity in the southeast, and this is now also being confirmed by the Katsina state governor. And let us continue to listen to the final part.
People who are in the security outfit and some people who are being responsible for day-to-day activities of their people.
And let me remind you that we also know that the fact that the governor is exactly saying the same thing that we've had before in the past. Not today, few years ago. This is what we know when it comes to the insecurity in Nigeria by the same government that have already compromised, and across Nigeria, many Nigerians continue to face the consequences, and this alone is one out of many reasons why the Yoruba people should pull out of Nigeria, because the center is no longer holding. Let's listen to this.
Which is the choice, Dr. Obadiah? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How would the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings.
The government have the hand in the killings of innocent Nigerians, while the international community continue to look away, while many lives continue to be destroyed, while many people are crying out because they cannot move from point A to B. We have now been able to pull together 3 different individuals that probably might not have spoken to each other before. We know that the late Malapia died. Nnamdi Kanu is currently in the DSS custody. He doesn't have access to the governor of Katsina State. But not just that alone, we also know that previously, few individuals have spoken out of the insecurity that the military, that many of us believe that should be protecting us, are already compromised. And many Nigerians are still in the hope that the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be able to curtail the insecurity. But we know that evidence indicated that over 7,000 innocent people have died during the 11 months or 1 year plus now, because in the next couple of days, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be spending 1 year in office. So that shows that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not competent to be the head of the Nigeria president, because he can no longer secure the Yoruba people and the other Nigerians that are living inside Nigeria. And this is the reasons why the Yoruba people must now come together and pull out safely out of Nigeria before we become much more used by the same military that is compromised. Listen to this.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits.
Again, we now have 4 different individuals telling us exactly. T.Y. Danjuma told us clearly that the military is compromised. They've literally colluded. Should we now say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not capable to manage the affairs of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it is right now that we should tell him to negotiate so that the Yoruba people can pull out, because we can no longer to be used as guinea pigs by the Boko Haram terrorists that are now making hell to many innocent Yoruba people and many Nigerians. And if you still want to be part of Nigeria, you are more than welcome to remain in Nigeria, where your life will be killed by many terrorists that have now invaded our forest. This is what some of our farmers are saying as they're calling for help.
So àwa náà go tin ra gàrí bá bá kó ewùrà sílẹ̀ àkó bó kó ṣu sílẹ̀ àkó gbogbo nǹkan ní oko kò sí nǹkan tí agbádùn ẹ̀ mọ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí iṣẹ́ tẹ́ rán mi, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí tó wà lẹ́yìn mi báyìí. Kò sí nǹkan tí mo lè ṣe tí mo sọ fún ẹ pé ìgbà tẹ́ fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan òjò rọ̀, òjò yẹn àbápọ̀ ju eléyìí lọ, òjò yẹn ló kọ̀ sí ẹ̀. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ, àwa gan báyìí òjò tó rọ̀ lé ní ló ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rọ̀ gan báyìí, kò dẹ̀ tóbi tó bẹ́ẹ̀. A dẹ̀ ní kankan àti ìgbì kankan, ìwọ̀nba kan tí a ní sóko gbogbo ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti kó lọ, ni wọ́n ti jí lọ. Màlúrú wọn gan báyìí wọ́n wà nínú oko bá ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí, wọ́n wà nínú oko wa àwọn kan báyìí. Mo wá pé tó jẹ́ ṣámà ni wọ́n, ní Àkúrẹ́ níjọ́sí wípé kó wá wo kó wá ó ti sọ pé òun bọ̀ ló sọ títí dè ní ó wá chairman ní ọ̀gá wọn gangan tó jẹ́ ọ̀gá wọn níbí ní ìmẹ̀rì níbí ó wá sí ilé mi gangan lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó wá sílé mi tí mo sọ pé mo fẹ́ fi oko àwọn ìgbìrà lọ hàn bí wọ́n ṣe bà oko ìgbìrà jẹ́ àtìgbà yẹn mi tiẹ̀ rí mọ́ kó tó wá di ìjẹrin tí mo wá lọ sóko tí mo tún wá bá wọn lóko ẹni tẹ́ pè tẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí òun mo kó bá mi pè ọ̀gá wọn ní Àkúrẹ́ kó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ pé wàhálà ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí o torí ẹni tí bá ti mú lóko mi nínú máa pátọ́ máa para mi kì í ìkan tí mo mì nìyẹn kó tó di pé ẹ tún wá gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tí ẹ gbé ní ọ̀sán yìí tó bá jẹ́ pé àárọ̀ la gbọ́ àbáná àbá pọ̀ gidi but nísìnyí ìwọ̀nba tí a rí báyìí ẹ̀jẹ̀ àwọn àgbẹ̀ Ondo State lélẹ́yìí o àwọn àgbà àtàwọn ìgbìrà àwọn gan ló pọ̀ sọ́dọ̀ mi gan báyìí ẹjọ́ ẹ gbà wá o Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá kó tú wa sílẹ̀ nǹkan tí ta sọ nìyẹn o ẹjọ́ o ìyà yìí ti pọ̀ jù o lórí àwọn obìnrin gan ṣiṣẹ́ àwọn obìnrin tó jẹ́ pé owó kìí ṣe owó díẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi gba ilé ìbìrà màdúró àbàjẹ́ èèyàn lọ yá owó ó fi dá oko kò ní géènì kankan nínú ẹ̀ àwọn obìnrin especially àwọn obìnrin ló tẹ̀ dùn mí jù wọ́n lọ gbá owó èlé wọ́n fi ṣoko màdúró àbàjẹ́ lọ́jọ́ kan ẹjọ́ Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá o ní Ondo State o Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá o ẹjọ́.
Our people are now calling to Sunday Igboho to please come to their aid. But Sunday Igboho cannot come to their aid when we are not getting the message from our kings to give that order so that we can go after all these criminals. Oloye Igboho would love to go after them, but he won't be able to do such since the kings have not given a full go-ahead. Then the question then is, who should be taking care of this insecurity? We've listened to different quarters of governors, to the farmers, late Malapia, to T.Y. Danjuma that is still alive, our farmers in Ondo State, and we've listened to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The question then is, are you concerned as Yorubas today, as Nigerians, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not capable of taking care of the security in Nigeria, and maybe it's time for him to allow a peaceful negotiation of the Yoruba people to exit Nigeria so that we can go and take care of our security and protect lives and property, because we can no longer continue like this? Or should we all remain quiet and die silently in 1 and 2 as economy is being destroyed? Ile-Epo was attacked by Fulani terrorists, market traders were killed, places were burnt down. My question then to those of you that continue to argue that Igboho is the criminal, Igboho is the one creating this havoc, you've now been able to see that Igboho is just asking for one thing, and one thing alone: a peaceful dissolution of Nigeria. And he said it clearly in this video.
ẹ má jẹ́ ká bú àgbààgbà kankan mọ́, ẹ má bolóṣèlú kankan. Ẹ̀rù kálukú ń bẹ̀rù wọn ò lè sọ̀rọ̀, ọba ò lè sọ, ìjòyè lè sọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú, ẹ má jẹ́ ká bá àwọn bàbá àjà mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ á bú wọn mọ́, ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣe wọ́n ra wọn ara pẹ̀lú wọn. Àwọn àgbà tó bá jó lóṣèlú, tá a bá fẹ́ kọ́ wọn rẹ̀ wá lọ́wọ́, á gbé wọn mọ́ra, á gbé wọn mọ́ra ni, à ní bú wọn mọ́. Ẹ má jẹ́ á ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, ẹ má jẹ́ á dàlúrú. A lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì ṣèjẹ̀gbọ́n, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì yìnbọn, a lè gba ẹ̀tọ́ wa láì dàlúrú. Gbogbo protest mo ṣe ní ìlú Nàìjíríà, mi ò rí bí tí mo ti ẹnìkan lè sọ pé mo pààyàn tàbí mo jó nǹkan náà tàbí mo bà nǹkan jẹ́. Mo lọ písù torí pé olówó lèmi náà, tí ò bá sólówó lára ń dì mọ́. Gbogbo nǹkan tọ́lọ́run fún yàn lọ́lọ́run fún mi. Mi ṣe tálákà tó dé pé mo dìde fún jà Yorùbá. Big man ni mí, àwọn tó jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tó súnmọ́ mi tó ní owó ní kí ni mo wá lọ bẹ̀. Pé sọ́wọ́ lè mi mò ń fẹ́ ni kí n sọ yìí tí mo fẹ́, mo ní ìsọ̀rọ̀ owó. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ ìran mi ni mò ń sọ. Kí n wọ gbowó, kí n gbéra, kí n pé mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ ọba Ìgbòho, mò ń lọ ọ̀dọ̀ oníbodè òfin Ìgbòho, kí n kójó wọlé kọ́kàn mi balẹ̀, kí n dá wa mọ́tò kí n mọ́ rìn bọ̀, kí Fúlàní mọ́ da mi dúró títì, kí n délé kí bàbá sọ pé kí n gbé tírélà sùn kí n mọ́ gbé lọ. Àwọn bàbá wo lè lóko mọ́, wọn ò lè lódò. ẹ jẹ́ ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ká ti àwọn bàbá wa lẹ́yìn ká dá security ti wá lẹ̀ ká sọ fún wọn kí wọ́n bá wa fọwọ́ tì í ká lé wọn kó nu oko wa ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́ Jésù Olúwa wa.
And that has been the crime of Chief Sunday Igboho. That has been his only crime, speaking out on behalf of millions of Yoruba people that have been killed, attacked, massacred. Yet, many Yoruba people still believe that Igboho is the cause of many of the problems in Yorubaland today because of his activities, because of his asking the right for the Yoruba people to be free from the bondage of the Fulani terrorists. Many of you today that continue to criticize Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, I hope you will then start asking for forgiveness. Forgiveness for not knowing that Igboho was only doing the needful that the governors are meant to be doing in the Southwest and the federal government itself. Many of those that are trying, from Adekoya to Amotekun, to many of our vigilantes, our hunters, are not well equipped, are not given enough firepower to go after these criminals. And the next video we're going to play to you has been put together from the voice note that was sent to me, but we've transformed it to video so that it can be able to be projected on all the platforms across the different parts of our social media. This did not happen last year. This took place somewhere in Shagamu, southwest part of Nigeria, where many innocent people again have been kidnapped by the Fulani terrorists. And we must state it clearly that these are Fulani terrorists that have invaded every part of Yorubaland and across Nigeria from all the evidence that we've shown and we played earlier on. They've asked again, what is the crime that you can no longer travel at 5 p.m. local time because Fulani terrorists are just waiting to attack and kill you? The next audio is not dotted. This happened on a real time to a true individuals that is giving back the experience. He was able to be let go, but 6 more individuals are still in the hands of the captivity of the Fulani terrorists. This was spoken in Yoruba, but I'll quickly explain to many of you that might not understand what that audio is all about. It stated clearly that they were pulled over by Fulani terrorists with AK-47. They moved them straight into the forest. He had 100,000. Another Igbo man was also taken and he paid 120,000 while the other Yoruba man paid 100,000. The Yoruba man was able to ask them in Hausa. They were shocked that he could be able to speak Hausa. They asked him how he understood Hausa. He said he lived in the northern part of Nigeria and that's the reason why. Maybe out of luck and part of what he paid, he was released. One person was killed on the spot, left in his Lexus on the highway. He was eventually free, but I can tell you that 6 innocent people were not free. We do not know their plight or what is happening to them as I speak to you today, Sunday, the 5th May 2024. You might actually say that it is not coming close to you, but remember that Ilepo was in Lagos State. It was attacked, businesses were burnt down, businesses owned by Yoruba people, burnt down by Fulani terrorists right inside Lagos State. Yet, the Lagos State have the audacity to move Yoruba people out of Lagos State and dump them back to Osun State as if they are criminals. Even if they are criminals, you must take a proper court position on them rather than punch them like animals and take them back. While we have many Fulani terrorists, sleeper cells across every part of Lagos State, I pity many Yoruba people that are living in denial. One day, you will come back and say to us, we call it out, but you called us names. Myself, Igboho, and many Yoruba people that are campaigning that the insecurity that is currently happening today can no longer be contained. One thing I can say to you is that the Yoruba people will be free, and we will be free one day. We are live on the program. There will not be opportunity to speak to you right now. One thing I can tell you right now is that the Yoruba people must be free from the shackles and the danger that we are currently facing as we speak right now. My name is Olami Koiki. The next audio is a one that will make you cry. But because we are very, very stubborn individuals, some of you will probably forget this audio after we've even played right now.
Lánàá after fight náà dá wa dúró tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yìnbọn wọ́n pààyàn kan gan àwa méje náà kó wọnú gbọ́ àwọn Fúlàní AK-47 ní gbogbo wọn gbé dání wọ́n gbé wa lọ núgbó wọ́n á mú wa débì kan wọ́n á ní kí gbogbo wa jókòó ká dúró wọ́n á ń bèrè èmi kẹ̀rí pé wọ́n ń sọ Haúsá mo wá sọ Haúsá sí wọn pé kó jọ kó ṣàánú mi kó ẹ̀bùn mi kó má ṣe nǹkan kan fún mi wọ́n bá sọ fún mi pé kí n má wọrí pé ṣé má là ní mi ni mo ní mi ìṣe Haúsá wọ́n ní bò mo ti gba Haúsá mo ní mo gbé ní north wọ́n ní bò mo ní mo gbé ní Kebbi ní Jẹ̀gà àti Sokoto mọ́ ẹ láwọn ọmọ Mẹ̀dúgùrí nìyẹn àti wọ́n á tún mú wa kúrò nígun àwa ń lọ òru ní gbogbo ìgbà tí mò ń sọ yẹn o àwa ń lọ wọ́n á tún dá wa dúró wọ́n bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní mú fóònù wa jáde pé ta ló ní fóònù eléyìí wọ́n á mú small phone mo lé mi ni wọ́n á láwọn máa fi mí lẹ̀ pé ṣùgbọ́n ṣòwò wà lápò mi mo ní mo lówó lọ́wọ́ mo gbówó yẹn jáde 100,000 kan 3,000 kan àti fóònù mi wọ́n yẹn gbà nìyẹn ẹnì kejì tọ́jọ́ fi wálẹ̀ yíbò ni ìyẹn ń wá tírélà ìyẹn ní wọ́n yẹn mú un báyìí náà ti gba 120 lọ́wọ́ òun àwọn méjèèjì yẹn wọ́n yẹn ní káwọn akọ́ṣẹ́gbẹ́ báyìí àwọn márùn-ún yòókù fóònù wọ́n bá yẹn rí fóònù lọ́wọ́ yàn wọ́n yẹn ń dájọ́ ẹ̀ wọ́n wá ń sọ fáwọn yẹn pé you have 30 million ìyẹn ní I don't have but I will try wọ́n kọ́ àwọn yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ó kọ́ di ẹ̀kọ́ náà lórí ó kọ́ ní you move dey go we release you bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àti ibo yẹn ṣe kọ́ sínú igbó yẹn nìyẹn máa ṣe ń lọ nínú igbó ètò wa rọ́nà jáde síta nígbà tí máa jáde síta báyìí mo wá ń trace ọ̀nà yẹn padà mo ṣàìrí àwọn èrò onísàlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ àtàwọn area commander àti DPO gbogbo wọn kún bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ti tó àwọn mọ́tò yẹn lọ mo yẹn ní èmi mo ní mọ́tò eléyìí o àwọn kékeré àbàmọ́ṣẹ́ jáde nìyẹn o wọ́n yìí dá mi jókòó nìyẹn wọ́n á ní wà mọ́tò mi ká lọ station wọ́n gba statement wọ́n ṣe wà fún mi lẹ̀ mo wá ń gbọ́ mi kú lọ tí mo fi lọ já ọjà yẹn.
ok wọ́n release mọ́tò tẹ̀yìn fún mi tí wọ́n pa anybody rẹ̀.
wọ́n pààyàn.
wọ́n ti pààyàn.
sínú Lexus èèyàn yẹn wà nú ẹ̀.
Yorùbá àbí Ìgbò.
Ìgbò.
lọ pa. èèyàn mélòó wá kó wọgbó ń sìn.
àwa méje náà kó wọgbó.
wọ́n wá fẹ́ yín mélòó lẹ̀.
àwa méjì.
èyí méjì náà fi lẹ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
tó àwọn èèyàn sì wà nù gbóǹsì.
wọ́n wà nù gbóǹbẹ̀. wọ́n ń bèrè ransom money lọ́wọ́ wọn.
ìbàdàn ìṣàlàyé lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ìlú òkè bí ẹ sọ pé wọ́n ti fi gbogbo àwọn tó kú lẹ̀.
àwa méjì náà fi sílẹ̀.
kì í ṣe gbogbo yín náà fi lẹ̀.
àwa méjì péré náà àwa méje.
àwọn méjì bíi márùn-ún sì wà nínú
gbó. wọ́n wà nínú gbó yẹn.
wàhálà wà gbà fún wa ní Ògùn State.
ní step flash ní Ṣàgámù lọ́nà lẹ́sàn bíi after 5 ìrọ̀lẹ́.
ìrọ̀lẹ́ àná.
ìrọ̀lẹ́ àná ìṣálẹ́. ìrọ̀lẹ́.
àwọn ti eré àkàmọ́ àti gba statement lẹ́nu.
wọ́n gba statement lẹ́nu.
wọ́n wá ní kẹ́yìn máa lọ.
wọ́n ní kí n máa lọ.
àwọn òwọ́nú gbó yẹn.
ń bo wọ́n ta kété ni wọ́n á ń bèèrè lọ́wọ́ èèyàn kan pé wọ́n bá tẹ̀lé wọnú gbó yẹn mo lè tẹ̀lé wọn bóyá ọjọ́ kejì wọ́n láwọn máa pa àwọn ọlọ́dẹ ló máa wọ́ mi.
nǹkan tó máa bá fà á ní ìsìn Ṣàgámù ò ṣèfù báyìí.
ò ṣèfù o.
Rẹ́mú àṣewò ò ṣèfù Ògùn State náà gan rẹ̀ ò ṣèfù lọ sí ìwọ̀n bá ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní filisiti wa.
gbogbo wọn Fúlàní ni wọn.
I'm afraid there is a problem.
pátápátá àwọn méjèèjì Fúlàní ni wọn 4 ló gbébọn yẹn dání.
AK-47.
wàláì confam. àná tó sọ fún mi nígbà tó fi mí lẹ̀ pé kó wù mí kí n lọ pẹ́ ọlọ́pàá wọ́n pè mí padà ní pé kí n wo nǹkan tó wà lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́pàá ò ní wọn ò bí wọn dá. wọ́n sọ wọ́n fọwọ́sá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ fún mi.
ẹ ṣẹ́gun ìfẹsẹ̀ǹdẹ̀ sórí pátọ́ọ̀mù kan náà wọ́n pè ní ẹmọ falàmì gbogbo àwọn olóṣèlú bá ta ló wà ń bẹ̀ gbogbo wọn máa fi ti gbọ́ láti ẹnu kò ní jẹ́ pé wáyé pé nǹkan tí mo kọ̀ kọ́ síbẹ̀ nìkan mọ̀ ní mi dùn pé apadà ìyá nítorí bẹ́ẹ̀ ń sọ lórí fóònù lẹ́ǹkan yẹn kò clear sí mi dáadáa lórí mi gọ́dẹ̀ mi kọ sílẹ̀ ni pé kí ló kọ ewu àwọn tó kù wọ́n ti rìlíìsì wọ́n ti wà ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọlọ́pàá ní kiri lọ́dún ìgbẹ́yìn méjì kan ní ẹjọ́ ti rìlíìsì gbọ́n àwọn tó kù sí wà ní níbẹ̀ yẹn àwọn ọlọ́pàá yẹn ò kẹ̀ wọnú gbó yẹn lọ sí wàhálà.
Well, that is not a movie. That was not a scripted event. This took place in Shagamu, where Fulani have now taken over every part of Yorubaland. Mo bí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ṣé bá ṣe máa sùn tá máa jí lójoojúmọ́ náà lélẹ́yìí? Ṣé bá ṣe máa wò bí orí rẹ̀ sì tí àwọn governors ò ṣe kankan tí a dẹ̀ ń bi wọ́n pé kí ni wọ́n fi security vote kí ló fi ń ṣe? Ẹ gbọ́ tí arákùnrin yẹn sọ pé àwọn sọ fún àwọn ọlọ́pàá pé kó wọlé pẹ̀lú wọn, ọlọ́pàá nínú òun kọ́ ló máa wọlé, àwọn ọlọ́dẹ ló máa wọlé. It shows that the security have been overpowered by the Fulani terrorists. And as we have shown you so many times, the kind of sophisticated weapon that they move around with within Nigeria, these are powerful, sophisticated weapons. They've override and overtaken many of barracks, military barracks across Nigeria. My question is this how we are all going to sit back and do nothing? And someone that wants to do something, someone that wants to sacrifice his life for the Yoruba people, have been castigated, have been called names, have been given all kind of remarks on different platforms across the world. Some decided that he is not even worth to be representing Yoruba people. I am talking about Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. Many people know that he is ready, fit, to go after this criminal terrorist. But he will not be able to do so since there is no clearance from our governors, no clearance from our kings. That shows that many lives will be lost. If you're lucky to have come out of the Fulani terrorist attack, maybe you are just lucky. But many people will not be as lucky as you. As we continue this Sunday broadcast this afternoon from London, in 8 minutes, those of you that are preparing to join us on the MixLR will be able to start listening in the next 8 minutes. Currently, we are on a full broadcast. But as I always say, without your support, there's little that we can do from the media perspective. This is why we continue to say to you, your continued donation would also help us to penetrate with our media right into those communities and give them warning in advance by our media and other external media that we can use both online and offline. And this is why we say to you, dip your hand into your pocket and support a media that is ready to work, a media that is ready to sacrifice its time and hours to make sure that we can continue, if possible, on a 24 hours to tell Yoruba people about the danger ahead. Many Yoruba people are not aware of many of the dangers that we are talking about because they've been caught out under Operation Keep Them Poor. I am saying again, your contribution is worth it, and every penny donated to Koiki Media is well appreciated, as we say. Let me now read the write-up from the governor, which played already the video, evidence of it. But this is what the write-up came up with from Governor of Katsina State, that made it known to us that banditry, as it's known in Nigeria, is a well-organized and well-funded. You heard that the people that I was dealing with are carrying AK-47. I don't have the AK-47, but I have my media to warn and advise many Yoruba people maybe to be very, very vigilant. Operation Say It Sorted. We know that it's not sorted, but at least the more people that we can tell about the danger ahead, the better for them. But we cannot do this if we are not supporting the YSDM. The YSDM can only do what they can do with the resources that they have. YSDM is not the Yoruba government as of today. We still have our governors that have allocation given to them on a monthly basis. Their job is to make sure that information continues to circulate within the communities across Yorubaland at the 191 local government. Many Yoruba people are sleeping when the Fulani terrorists are really preparing to make sure that they can take us out and create havoc and take our land. But as we say all the time, if we do nothing, we would all be affected. I pray that we will do something so that we cannot be affected. Let me first tell you that the Yoruba people are doing very well when it comes to farming. But unfortunately, the reason why we've not done so much is because Fulani terrorists have literally taken over our farm, and yet our farmers can no longer farm as they are meant to be. Let me give you a good evidence, and I'd like to say thank you so much. This video was brought out, I believe, sometime a year ago by Aluka and OBJ. We hope that many of you will continue to respect that many of the youth that are working tirelessly back home can only be supported through YSDM. If you are funding YSDM, the YSDM can fund many projects, from welfare to security to Oromiyan, to also donating straight into the YSDM central account. There is no bank account. All you need to do is to visit the YSDM website, as that will be able to allow you to put your own contribution. It is easy for many of you to continue to comment and ask for changes. The change starts from me and you. Let us go into the YSDM website and create our own account to donate. It is easy to write episode on comment section. It is good to continue to tweet, but without money, there's not much we can do. We can all fund it. Don't expect any of the criminal politicians to fund it. The Yoruba people will have to fund the YSDM, which is the authentic Yoruba self-determination movement. Without the funding, we can just continue to lament, and probably it will not save many lives. But when we fund it, they can distribute leaflets to our community in our language and warn them about the activities that is still going on, because some of them have been cut out because of the lack of electricity on the ground. Don't think that many people are watching us because we are live. You might be able to watch me because you have access to internet. Remember that many of our populace within the Yoruba territory do not have the same access to internet, and they will only rely on the word of mouth. We have many grassroots people that are ready to work, from the Yoruba youth diaspora at home, and many of them that are prepared to work, but without funding, there's little that they can do. We cannot deal with this insecurity because we do not have the AK-47 and the rest of the weapon to go after these criminals. But what we have is our voice to warn our people that the reason why they are being killed is because Fulani terrorists still want to take our land. And like I said, the next video will shock you that we have farmers that are truly ready to do as much when it comes to farming in Yorubaland. We have what it takes. Pure tomato that can be produced in large quantity. But when farmers can no longer sit in their farm, we have from Abeokuta where Agbeloba Timothy, just last week, all his cassava farm were destroyed by the same Fulani terrorists from Osun State all the way down to Ekiti, to Ondo State. The one that we played earlier were people from Ondo State, the Igbira, that are complaining and calling on Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho to please come to their aid. The question then is, who is going to come to our aid when our governors refuse to support the vision to make sure that our people are well being taken care of? Like I said, the next video, these tomatoes are not coming from the northern part of Nigeria. These are grown in Yorubaland, ready to serve Yoruba people. But unfortunately, many people are running away now because of the Fulani terrorists that is creating havoc. Let's listen to the next video.
Sangbo, we are live now at Ọjà Ọ̀dàn ní express Ọjà Ọ̀dàn lọ sí Wùnbẹ́. Òun la ti ń ṣe live yìí. Ṣátìrì wọ́n jẹ́ kó yé wa wípé tòmátò Yorùbá ni. Àwọn Fúlàní máa wá ń rà lọ́wọ́ àwọn máa lọ tún tà. Gbogbo wa tó ń sọ wípé ẹ máa gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣàlàyé kankan. Ẹ ti rí. Ẹ máa gbọ́ wọ́n jẹ́ kó yé mi pé 3,500 4,000 làwọn máa ń ta pẹ̀rẹ̀. Bọ̀dá bá bẹ́ẹ̀ rà ní ìgboro lọ́dọ̀ wa. ta 10,000 40,000 ìgbà míì 8,000. Ṣé ń gbọ́ iye tí wọ́n ń tà ní. Àwọn fún Haúsá yìí máa ń rà ní 3,000 4,000. Bọ̀tẹ́ bá fẹ́ lọ rà ní my 12 báyìí. Apẹ̀rẹ̀ tẹ́ ń wo ilé ọmọ máa ta fún yín ní 14,000 8,000. Àwọn àdèlà ní gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yìí o. According to gbogbo nǹkan tó ń sọ́ọ̀sìn. Ṣé ń gbọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní a lè dáko a lè ṣàgbẹ̀ ẹ máa bá ń ṣí ẹ̀. Ẹ gbọ́.
Tọ́rọ̀ bá di pé a fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí iyán àgbẹ̀ lónìí Yorùbá lónìí.
Ṣé ń gbọ́.
So tá a bá fẹ́ di ipá kí ṣe nǹkan kankan àgbẹ̀ lónìí lọ́wọ́.
Ṣé ń gbọ́.
So tó bá yẹ pé nípa ọ̀rọ̀ alákadé àwa la ní.
Ṣé ń gbọ́.
So
Haúsá olóore kankan tó ń ṣe wá ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ kó ní kálukú dá wà lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. Ẹ ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀. Ẹ ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀. Ẹ máa bá wa share kẹ́ máa bá wa like love share. Ẹ máa bá wa ṣe kẹ́ máa bá wa pín káàkiri ẹ ṣí ẹ̀gàn kó máa káàkiri gbogbo àwọn ẹlẹ́nu òṣì tọ́ni tá a bá dá dúró ṣáà lè dáko kí la fẹ́ jẹ ṣáà lè ṣàgbẹ̀ ẹ ti rí tòmátò làlúkà ń jẹ ẹ ti rí àlúkà ń jẹ tòmátò ẹ ti rí àwọn èèyàn mi iron lady ọjọ́ ọ̀dàn tòmátò náà ń jẹ yìí ẹ ti rí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ láàní tòmátò ọ̀dọ̀ wa náà ti wá ń koná ló ń ta lówó gelemọ fún wa ìwọ tó bá fẹ́ rà kọ́ńtàtì mi màá fún ẹ ní bí wàá ṣe máa ráwọn gbogbo nǹkan yìí rà díẹ̀ mi nínú àfọ̀já Trump kẹjẹ ká mọ̀ ẹ ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ ńlẹ̀ ó pọ̀ lẹ́bi yẹ̀pẹ̀ kò ń ṣe bí nìkan o ṣé rí gbogbo ọ̀nà yìí láti ọjọ́ ọ̀dàn títí lọ dé ìwúnbẹ náà tó sí ibi nìkan láti bí títí Ìpòbẹ láti bọ́dà Nàìjíríà sí Benin Republic gbogbo ẹ̀ ló wà ibi nìkan la kàn ti láǹfààní àti dúró yá ni ẹ̀yin ìyá mi Ọlọ́run á ṣe ẹ jèrè ẹ fèrè jẹ̀kọ ẹ ní ṣe lásán lógo Ọlọ́run ẹ kú iṣẹ́.
Kò sọ̀njẹ mọ́ àwa tó wà lóko kọ ìyá ló ń jẹ wá báyìí so àwa náà gan ti ń ra gàrí bá a bá kó ewùrà sílẹ̀ á kó bó o kóṣù sílẹ̀ á kó gbogbo nǹkan ní oko kò sí nǹkan tí agbádùn ẹ̀ mọ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí nǹkan tí iṣẹ́ tẹ́ rán mi mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tó wà lẹ́yìn mi báyìí kò sí kan tí mo lè ṣe tí mo sọ fún ẹ pé ìgbà tẹ́ fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan òjò rọ̀ òjò yẹn àbápọ̀ ju eléyìí lọ òjò yẹn ló kọ̀ sí ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ àwa gan báyìí òjò tó rọ̀ lé ní ló ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ rọ̀ gan báyìí kò dẹ̀ tóbi tó bẹ́ẹ̀ a dẹ̀ ní kankan àti ìgbì kankan ìwọ̀nba kan tí a ní sóko gbogbo ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti kó lọ ni wọ́n ti jí lọ màlúù wọn gan báyìí wọ́n wà nínú oko bá a ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí wọ́n wà nínú oko wa àwọn kan báyìí mo wá pé tó jẹ́ ṣáàmà ni wọ́n ní Àkúrẹ́ níjọ́sí wípé kó wá wo oko wa ó ti sọ pé òun bọ̀ ló sọ títí dè ní ó wá ṣáàmà ní ọ̀gá wọn gangan tó jẹ́ ọ̀gá wọn níbí ní ìmẹ̀rì níbí ó wá sí ilé mi gangan lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó wá sílé mi tí mo sọ pé mo fẹ́ fi oko àwọn ìgbìrà lọ hàn bí wọ́n ṣe bà oko ìgbìrà jẹ́ àtìgbà yẹn mi tiẹ̀ rí mọ́ kó tó wá di ìjẹrin tí mo wá lọ sóko tí mo tó wá bá wọn lóko ẹni tẹ́ pè tẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ yìí òun ni mo kó bá mi pè ọ̀gá wọn ní Àkúrẹ́ kó bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ pé wàhálà ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí o torí ẹni tí bá ti mú lóko mi nínú máa pátọ́ máa para mi kì í ìkan tí mo mì nìyẹn kó tó di pé ẹ tún wá gbé ìgbésẹ̀ tí ẹ gbé ní ọ̀sán yìí tó bá jẹ́ pé àárọ̀ la gbọ́ àbáná àbá pọ̀ gidi but nísìnyí ìwọ̀nba tí a rí báyìí ẹ̀jẹ̀ àwọn àgbẹ̀ Oǹdó ṣètì lélẹ́yìí o àwọn àgbà àtàwọn ìgbìrà àwọn gan ló pọ̀ sọ́dọ̀ mi gan báyìí ẹjọ́ ẹ gbà wá o Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá kó tú wa sílẹ̀ nǹkan tí ta sọ nìyẹn o ẹjọ́ o ìyà yìí ti pọ̀ jù o lórí àwọn obìnrin gan ṣiṣẹ́ àwọn obìnrin tó jẹ́ pé owó kìí owó díẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi gba ilé ìbìrà màdúró àbàjẹ́ èèyàn lọ yá owó ó fi dá oko kò ní géènì kankan nínú ẹ̀ àwọn obìnrin especially àwọn obìnrin ló tẹ̀ dùn mí jù wọ́n lọ gbá owó èlé wọ́n fi ṣoko màdúró àbàjẹ́ lọ́jọ́ kan ẹjọ́ Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá o ní Oǹdó State o Sunday Igboho kó gbà wá o ẹjọ́ o.
àwọn bàbá wa ń pe Sunday Igboho kó jọ kó gbà wọ́n ẹ rò pé bóyá ní Ondo State nìkan ló ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Let's come back closer to Abeokuta where the next video was sent to me by one of our brothers that is fully involved in Yoruba Nation. Who pays for all this damage? Yẹ́lì sọ pé kí ló dé tí wọ́n ṣe nítorí ẹ̀kọ́ ṣe fún wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọṣẹ́. The question is, many of those powerful Fulani terrorists are backed by full politicians. Àwọn èèyàn wa ni wọ́n máa end up spent 3-4 days in the prison. ẹni tí a fẹ́ gbọ́ fídíò ẹ̀ yìí spend so many days in the prison because of certain things that we cannot say online. But let me say to you, kò ṣe pé àwọn èèyàn wa náà mọ̀ tó yẹ kó ṣe, but they have the backing of people, very powerful people within the society. And one thing is, we can only pray and hope that one day all this will stop. It is easy for us to sit abroad. Ká máa sọ pé kí ló dé tí wọ́n ṣe tó yẹ kó ṣe fún wọn. But we know that when they do so, the Fulanis all the way from the north, from Abuja, are making calls to the police station. Police officer will arrest people that are not meant to be arrested. And you might not know what is happening. A lot of things have gone underneath. Let's watch the next video.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbààgbà ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ẹ̀yin àgbà ọ̀dàlẹ̀, mo kí yín. Ẹ̀yin àgbà tẹ́ kì í ṣàgbà ọ̀dàlẹ̀, mo kí yín. Ẹ̀yin Afẹ́nifẹ́bi tẹ́ ń pera yín ní Afẹ́nifẹ́re, tẹ́ ẹ sọ wípé ẹ lọ tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn pẹ̀lú àwọn Fúlàní kí wọ́n máa pa wá, kí wọ́n máa ṣoríṣiríṣi nǹkan fún wa nínú oko. Mo fẹ́ kí n fi àwọn nǹkan tí àwọn Fúlàní tẹ́ ẹ lọ tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀, àrà tí wọ́n dá ní alẹ́ àná nínú oko pákí, tá a fi gbogbo àkókò wa, tá a fi jẹ̀yà nínú òjò nínú ẹ̀rùn, tá a fi gbìn, kẹ́ wá wo bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe. Ẹ̀yin Afẹ́nifẹ́re, mi ò rò pé ẹ ná mọ́ o, torí tẹ́ ẹ bá ní àwọn ọmọ, ó yẹ kí àwọn ọmọ yín kí wọ́n lè jẹ́ olùmọ̀ràn tó dára láti gbà yín nímọ̀ràn àti láti là yín lóye wípé nǹkan tẹ́ ń ṣe fún ìran Yorùbá, ẹ̀ ń ṣe ìkà fún àwọn ìran Yorùbá, ẹ dẹ̀ jẹ́ ọ̀dàlẹ̀. Àbá rí yín gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ àlè Yorùbá, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, torí tẹ́ ò bá kí ṣọmọ àlè Yorùbá ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ sọ pé ẹ lọ tiwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn pẹ̀lú àwọn Fúlàní, mélòó nínú yín ló dé oko? Àwọn àgbẹ̀ mélòó lẹ kó jọ? Àwọn àgbẹ̀ mélòó lẹ sọ fún kẹ́ tó lọ tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn pẹ̀lú Fúlàní láti máa fìyà jẹ wá, láti máa fi bí pa wá, láti lè jẹ́ kí wọ́n tó ráàyè láti máa ṣe ọṣẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe. Ẹ̀yin ẹ wá wò ó, tẹ́ ẹ bá rí ìrọ̀lẹ́ àná lélẹ́yìí ṣẹlẹ̀, òjò tó rọ̀ lálẹ́ àná ló lu pa ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. Bí mo ṣe dóko ní ìsìn, mo mú àwọn tó fẹ́ hu pákí dénú oko, mo rí i pé wọ́n ti ba ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ owó jẹ́. Ṣó dẹ̀ dáa? Tí alálẹ́ bá ní ó dáa fún yín, aláàárọ̀ ò ní jẹ́ ó dáa fún ẹ̀yin tẹ́ pera yín ní Afẹ́nifẹ́re, tẹ́ ẹ lọ tọwọ́ bẹ̀ ìwé àdéhùn, àti wípé oko mélòó gan lẹ́yìn gan dá tẹ́ ẹ fi ń lọ tọwọ́ bọ̀ ìwé àdéhùn pẹ̀lú Fúlàní. Ẹ dẹ̀ ń pera yín ní èèyàn gidi, ẹ̀ ń pera yín ní ọmọ Yorùbá. Ọmọ Yorùbá kọ́ ni yín o, ọmọ àlè Yorùbá ni yín. Mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí, fídíò yìí kó kan àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́bi lọ́wọ́ kí wọ́n rí. Gbogbo ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ṣe alábàápàdé fídíò yìí, ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ fáírà, kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ kó kan àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́bi lọ́wọ́ kí wọ́n rí àrà tí wọ́n ń dá. Irú àwọn ọmọ wọn, táwọn ọmọ wọn bá dákẹ́ tí wọ́n ò sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú gbogbo àrà táwọn bàbá wọn yìí ń dá, tí wọ́n lọ ń tọwọ́ bọ̀ ìwé àdéhùn pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹranko lásánlásán, tí wọ́n dẹ̀ jọ ń hùwà ìbàjẹ́, ìwà pálapàla yìí, wípé káwọn ó jọ máa gbé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ṣé èdè kan ni wá ni? A ò kì í ṣèdè kan, a ò kì í ṣẹ̀yà kan. Mo mà kí bàbá yìí, àwọn bàbá méjì kan tí mò ń gbórúkọ rẹ̀, ọmọ ọkọ mà ní wọn o. Ojúlówó ọmọ kan tí wọ́n fi gbogbo ayé wọn, gbogbo ọjọ́ ayé wọn tí wọ́n fi ń jà fún ìran Yorùbá. Àwọn ọmọ wọn mà jẹ́ olùmọ̀ràn tó dára o. Alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ni Professor Banji AKINTOYE, mò ń gbórúkọ bàbá yìí. Orí mi dẹ̀ǹdẹ̀ ń wú, ara mi ń yá. Bákan náà ni ọmọ ọkọ tó jẹ́ ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá, ọ̀kan ṣoṣo tí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n ń wò lójú, Dr. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà. À ń gbòòrò ẹ, gbogbo àrà tó ń dá, tó ń fi gbogbo ọjọ́ ayé ẹ̀ tó fi jì fún ìran Yorùbá. Ìjọba Nàìjíríà wọ́n bà gbogbo nǹkan tó jẹ́ nǹkan ìní ẹ̀jẹ̀, síbẹ̀ náà kò bójú wẹ̀yìn. Ẹ̀yin Afẹ́nifẹ́bi, ẹ dẹ̀ wà níbẹ̀ o, ẹ rí rojú ayé níbí. Ó túmọ̀ sí pé ẹ ní olùmọ̀ràn. Àwọn ọmọ yín tó yẹ kó jẹ́ olùdámọ̀ràn yín, wọn ò jẹ́ olùdámọ̀ràn yín. Táwọn náà a ò mọ̀ràn tí wọ́n fẹ́ dá ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, níwọ̀nba ìgbà tí ó ti jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin bàbá tẹ́ ẹ bí wọn, ẹ ò so èso tó dára fún ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Báwo làwọn ọmọ yín ṣe fẹ́ sèso tó dára jàre? Ẹ wo iṣẹ́ tí àwọn Fúlàní dá, ẹ wo àrà tí wọ́n dá. Ṣáà lè sọ pé inú ìgbẹ́ lóko ní oko yìí wà tí wọ́n fi wá ba ogunlọ́gọ̀ owó millions of naira ni wọ́n bàjẹ́ ní bíbáyìí. Ò nágbára o. gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn tẹ́ ń fìyà jẹ ìran Yorùbá tí alálẹ́ bá ní ó dáa aláàárọ̀ níjọ́ dáa fún yín o ẹ ò ní sinmi ní gbogbo ìyókọjọ ayé yín ó mà ga o àníkáwí wọn ní lọ tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn ṣe rí èèyàn kan ló hu o àwọn Fúlàní nì ẹ wàrà tí wọ́n dá wọ́n bà gbogbo oko jẹ́ wọ́n bà millions of naira jẹ́ nínú oko nítorí kíni torí pé ẹ lọ tọwọ́ bọ ìwé àdéhùn èsì àti èrè ìwé àdéhùn tẹ́ lọ tọwọ́ bọ ohun lélẹ́yìí o àbẹ́ẹ̀rí ẹ̀yin Afẹ́nifẹ́ bí tẹ́ ń pera yín ní Afẹ́nifẹ́re eléyìí mà lágbára o ṣé bí ìyà yìí ṣe fẹ́ máa jẹ wá lónìí ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tí àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n á máa fọ ọwọ́ lágbá wa lójú eléyìí mà ga o a tún pe àwọn kan ní àgbà àwọn àgbà tí ò bá gbani àwọn iná ló jẹ́ agbọ́mọta wọ́n ti ta gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nítorí nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ tí wọ́n fẹ́ mu wọ́n fi nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ wọ́n dẹ̀ fi bà nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ wọ́n wá gbé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tà fún ìran aṣekúpani Sunday Igboho ojúlówó ọmọ ọkọ Yorùbá ẹ dìde kẹ́ ẹ gbà wá àgbẹ̀ àwa ò gbẹ o a ò mọ kankan nípa àwọn nǹkan táwọn bàbá wọ̀nyí lọ ṣe o a ò mọ kankan nípa ẹ̀.
We are live now on the MixLR. For the benefit of those of you that would like to join that link, the MixLR is now live for you to join. If you are one of those that prefer to just listen from the MixLR. A very good afternoon. We are not taking any calls, neither are we bringing anybody in to speak. But I want you to sit back and continue to enjoy and hear from what we are discussing. Banditry is now business venture for government officials, security agencies, Katsina Governor Radda. The Katsina State Governor, Diko Radda, has revealed that some security personnel and government officials had turned the insecurity situation in Nigeria to business ventures. Exactly what Nnamdi Kanu said here. Let's listen again to the leader of the IPOB that was kidnapped and renditioned back to Nigeria just around 2021, if I'm right.
And they know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. They are making money with insecurity. That's correct. They are making money with it. They know Nnamdi Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. Who is the idiot? Who is the bagger? That will speak when I'm talking. Who is the fool? Who is the idiot? I ask. That I give an order in the east and any idiot will counter it. Who is the bastard? I'm asking you. So, sir, nobody can.
Sir, are you against?
I'm not Kanu. No. Who is the idiot? Form of violence or insecurity in the southeast in the name of IPOB is a gun, and they know that. Let me come out of this nonsense, this mess. 2 minutes only. Only 2 minutes, I guarantee you. And the peace in the east, not just southeast. Everywhere in the east, it's not the entire south.
Dilodlo here. Now, we're all asking and wondering the exact same thing. How on earth do we get?
Well, you had it right there. That was Nnamdi Kanu saying that the government is complicit. And we all know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has lost the plot. He can no longer protect Nigerians because the insecurity is becoming a big problem. The governor mentioned this when he appeared on Friday edition of the channel's TV Politics Today, adding that this was one of the reasons why it was difficult to end the menace of the banditry and the insecurity generally. He said, now it has turned out to be a business venture for the criminals, some people who are in government, and some people who are in the security outfit, and some people who are responsible for the day-to-day activities of their people. These are so many reasons why we are unable to bring banditry to an end. Lately, criminal bands, locally known as bandits, have reportedly attacked and ravaged rural communities in Nigeria. according to Sahara reporters, had reported thousands of incidents of kidnapping and adoption by bandits. President Bola Tinubu has made elemented insecurity a priority. Many people relate the insecurity to politics, but Governor Radda claims that poverty and injustice are important motivation. The governor continued, the issue of the hypothesis behind the political motive as responsible for banditry is not true. According to the governor, many youth in the north are recruited into banditry with mere 500 naira. That should be something we should be scared of. That should be something tí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ máa bẹ̀rù pé with 500 naira wọ́n lè recruit èèyàn sínú terrorism. As part of the moves to tackle the region's insecurity, some northern governors were on a trip to the United States, though they came under heavy criticism for the meeting. With many wondering why it was not held in Nigeria, rather as said that they were only invited to the parley. The meeting was not at the instance of the selected governors of the northern state, but it was the instance of the United States Institute of Peace. They were the people who invited us. They hosted us for meeting. We were invited to sit with them so that they could bring about lasting solution to the problems that are affecting our people. If you trust that, you are thinking the other way around. If you think that the West will come and resolve your insecurity, you might want to ask J what and how insecurity has become one of their biggest threats. Governor Radda said the trip gave the governors fresh insight into the insecurity. So until people travel to America, you will have a fresh insight. The craziness of the country means that Yoruba people should wake up today before it is too late. Let's now bring you back again to the next slide. Once again, those of you that would like to join us on the MixLR, you are more than welcome to do that now, because the line of the MixLR is officially now working. And shout out to those of you that are listening to us on the Twitter space and all the platforms. The first Sunday, I believe, is today. 5/5/2024 is coming up to 16 minutes past 1500 hours. For those of you in Nigeria, it's just 3:16 p.m. Same time with England, London, where I am reporting from. I want to tell us about something that I picked up on the UK insecurity. As many of us might not know, that the UK is also facing substantial security threat. And I'll be able to prove that to you from the video I picked up from the Sun newspaper YouTube channel yesterday. While we are preparing for that, let me remind you again and again that if we do nothing, a lot is going to affect us. But if we do something, we can slow down the problem, and we can all ask our governors and our representatives to make sure that they have everything to protect the lives of our people. The next video, like I said, I'm about to play to you, I picked that up from the UK Sun newspaper. It's a very, very important one that ISIS will attack Britain. I did not say so, but I can prove that someone, security expert, many of you tell Wanile, even here in UK, we are concerned and we are worried about the level of the insecurity. The level of the insecurity today is becoming too much. But many of you, Tewanile, you are thinking that when we talk about the insecurity, it's like we're probably scaring you because we are outside UK. Well, I can tell you that I am inside the UK, and also the UK now is facing a substantial terrorist attack anytime now. Though the UK government are doing their best and the European countries, But their best is not yet enough, according to the next report that we're going to listen to. It's about 8 minutes. I will try to use the whole video so that we can understand the magnitude of how terrorism that is affecting us in Europe will also become a problem because we cannot even tackle it yet in Nigeria. If the video happened to be removed after this broadcast, let us all know that it has been removed because it is not my copyright. But I want us to listen to that video that I'm about to play right now. But you can find that video should you, at the point of listening to this particular broadcast at this junction, which is just about an hour 46 minutes. Video is because I have asked them to remove it because a request came through for me to take it out. But I want you to understand that you can go and find that video yourself on the Sun newspaper. And the headline says, ISIS will attack Britain in the months as the MI5 prepares to raise the threat level, and one terrorism expert. The threat level in UK is still high. The UK threat level, right as of today, is under substantial. The current national threat level is substantial, and attack is likely. If in Nigeria today, you are getting an attack on a daily basis and Tinubu and the security chiefs cannot contain it, you can imagine that even UK that have all what it takes. Terrorism and national emergency, according to the gov.uk. Terrorism threat level. The threat level indicates the likelihood of a terrorist attack in the UK. Abroad. Our no are free. No, we are not free. We are just have to be more vigilant. See it, say it, sort it. That is the way we deal with it. If I see anything that is not right, I can call the intelligence and I can call the police. But in Nigeria, you are not going to have anybody to deal with it because they are more worried about the Yahoo when more bigger criminals like Yaya Bello and the rest of them are moving around freely in Nigeria. They cannot trace the line of those that are calling you when your loved ones are kidnapped. The technology is there. Emma sọ pé Koiki kò ní dọ́dọ̀ tèmi, no problem. We pray the same thing. But in UK, I can tell you that the national threat level to the UK, and when we talk about UK is divided into 4, which is the reason why some of us are worried that why should Nigeria remain one when we can have it divided into 4. That was what we signed for as we were negotiating our way for the independence in the 1960s. But today, that has been destroyed. We don't have the Western region. We don't have the Northern region. We don't have the Eastern region. What they created is a criminal, fraudulent 36 state plus FCT, where your corrupt politicians are living in large scale with wardrobe allowances and changes of vehicle. They have enough security to protect them from terrorism. But one thing is, terrorism will not allow your country to flourish. Your country remain a zoo, and the zoo will not prosper. It doesn't matter how much you pray for Nigeria to prosper, it will never prosper in Jesus' name. It will go down, and I will do whatever it takes to bring it down using my media to educate and enlighten you. The UK national threat level means that England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland are not safe from terrorism. Right as of today, it is under substantial. The Northern Ireland related threat level, the threat level to the Northern Ireland from the Northern Ireland related terrorism is substantial. We have 5 levels of threat in UK. Low, an attack is highly unlikely. Moderate, an attack is possible but not likely. But we are currently on substantial. UK, remain vigilant. Ẹ má fi gbogbo taratara náà máa sùn pé UK ni mo wà, Ọlọ́run dáàbò bò ẹ́. No, if you see something, because right now we have many people that have entered the UK and living with us. Àwọn kan máa bímọ, àwọn kan ti wà nínú school pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ wa. They are coming in and the UK government does not have the track of them. àwọn tó wà nínú ilé wọ́n track wọn, wọ́n monitor wọn. They move, they can move with them. But there are few of them that have come through the boat that we don't have their details. And they are moving from point A to B. And it is entirely up to you as a citizen living in UK to be vigilant. Do not just assume that the police knows them. If you see anything that is moving into your compound, you can see something that is not right, call the police. If it's not even anything off, they can just tell you, thank you so much, but we have been able to check it. Bomb will come to you. Please, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní UK ni mò ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ torí pé you get carried away. Ẹ máa ní Nàìjíríà nìkan ló ti máa ṣẹlẹ̀. I am telling you today that the UK is currently imminent to a terrorist attack. And as a media, it is my job to keep you up to date and warn you. Má dẹnu dẹ̀dàrà sílẹ̀. Ìtò bá rí tí kò bá yí ẹ. It doesn't matter, dúdú ni, òyìnbó ni, funfun ni, brown ni. Call the police and let them come and check it out. If not, gbogbo wa la máa jọ jẹ breakfast yẹn. As I speak to you, there are 5 levels of threat in UK. Èyí tá wà nínú ẹ̀ presently is known as substantial. An attack is likely. An attack is likely. Mo kí bàbá mi Ọmọọba Abiodun Grace. I am not talking about Nigeria now. I am talking about in the UK. A substantial òun ni threat level tá wà nínú ẹ̀. That means pé wọ́n lè attack ìlú yìí kò dẹ̀ síbi tí wọ́n lè attack. Wọ́n lè attack Peckham, wọ́n lè attack Hull, wọ́n lè attack Manchester. Máa sọ pé Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó possible. Àwọn UK ò lo Ọlọ́run. Wọ́n sọ fún ẹ pé ó lè ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìwọ ni kò sọ fún wa pé nǹkan tó rí yẹn ó dàbí pé nǹkan kan right. You live in UK, you should speak out. Oh, kì í ṣe ọ̀dẹ̀, oh, kì í ṣe mùmú. It is your right to speak out, even if it is not what it is. Wọ́n kàn sọ fún ẹ pé thank you so much. Dàn pé kò dẹnu sílẹ̀, kò ní kò kùn ẹ́, gbogbo wa la máa jẹ breakfast. Substantial la wà ní UK. It indicates that an attack is likely. Ibi tó ti máa attack àmọ́. Ó lè jẹ́ ibi tó ọmọ ẹ máa lọ ní Stratford lọ́ máa attack. Nígbà tẹ́ pé ọ̀dẹ̀ tó yẹ kó sọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ̀rọ̀. Òmùgọ̀ tó yẹ kó sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń fi gbogbo taratara pé ṣèfì Nàìjíríà kan la wà. Má rò pé Nàìjíríà kan la wà o. Attack is imminent in UK. Èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ. UK ò lo Jésù Kristi, wọ́n ò lo Ànábì Muhammad, wọ́n ò lo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀. They are using intelligence to track them and to be able to neutralize them. There's going to be an Olympic in France. They are doing everything possibly best to make sure that an attack at that event is not going to happen. But from the analyst Ama Agbonisi, wọ́n lè prevent the attack in the stadium, but they will not be able to prevent the attack on the London Underground or the tube station in France. Má dẹnu sílẹ̀ tó bá rí báàgì kan tó gbé sílẹ̀ ní tube station tètè pé àwọn èèyàn kí wọ́n lè neutralize ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká rí jàǹbá. Again, the next one is severe. The severe is an attack is highly likely. The next one tó critical òun ni an attack is highly likely in the near future. The level is set by the Joint Terrorism Analyst Center and Security Service. Wọ́n sọ pé ní church, wọ́n sọ pé ní mọ́ṣáláṣí, wọ́n gbé ọ̀rọ̀ wọn sọ̀rọ̀ Jésù Kristi, wọ́n gbé sọ̀rọ̀ intelligent gathering. And now let's listen to this. I will not interrupt this video. It's 8 minutes, 29 minutes. I will do my analysis on it after you've listened to it. Dẹnu sílẹ̀, kò máa sọ pé kò ní ṣẹlẹ̀. Tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀, ìwà náà láti máa jẹ breakfast.
Threat is still at substantial, which means, of course, an attack is likely, which on its own means that they're hedging the bets. You know, I mean, that's the whole point. If you read those terror threats, it's they are hedging the bets. The biggest concern is not necessarily, as we saw in Moscow, a group of people going off and, you know, with guns and firearms and doing something huge like that. It's much more around individuals who are already radicalized, some of whom are being released from prison, by the way, which I think is a huge threat. And those people deciding to go and commit terror again. I mean, none of them have been de-radicalized. In fact, they've all been acting as gang members in prison. And so we've got an awful lot of people that can readily self-harm. And I don't know if you've heard the term gangster jihadis, which is a term I think a French minister came out with it. And basically what they're saying, and I think this is really will come to fruition. Generally, terrorists have had difficult access to firearms and weapons and things. But when they're in prison, they build up links with people who have got those access, you know, serious organized criminals. And I think that mixture of people who are terrorists mixing with gang members and gun runners is a really quite a scary prospect for the next 10, 15 years. The chances are always going to be high that there is a terrorist attack in the UK. Different in Europe, I think, because the intelligence services aren't quite so on it over there, and also they've got more movement between the continents. So, we've got terrorists in Spain, Germany, France, Belgium. But I remember being concerned on the run up to the Olympics in London. But I think France. I mean, the threat over there is much greater. A few weeks ago in Moscow was, listen, we are still here, we exist. Now, that's a specific group that are really angry with Russia, but those groups do exist across Europe. It was interesting that they chose to, put this edict out about attacking the sports stadiums, the football matches. Absolute nonsense from we're going to attack it. It's unlikely to happen. However, what it's trying to do is put themselves back on the map. It's like a signaler to people within Europe, if you like. We're still here. This is what we want you to do. When you get the opportunity, go and do it. What concerns me, I think, is in the UK is this growth of terrorists being released back into the community to get up to no good. There's no doubt they'll get up to no good, whether they encourage others to commit terror or not. But also the fact that they've got probably more access now to weapons than they've ever had before. In France, they've already got access to guns and things because there's more guns available in across France and Europe. And there's greater numbers. And because of those greater numbers and real extrees, Paris Olympics is an obvious target. Probably not at the stadiums themselves. More likely, the marathons and the tube and the train network, which are going to be less protected than the stadiums. They are, I know, very concerned about the threat of terrorism. You can hit the tube network outside of the train network, and it's still an attack on the Paris Games. I think you have to understand the sheer numbers of people that hold these extreme views. When you start asking whole communities, do you largely support going to Sharia law? And they say yes. You realise that we've got big problems, and we're importing those problems, more and more each day.
I would be remarkably surprised if we did not see a terrorist attack on UK or on European soil, certainly in the next few months. Islamic State's coming out with this statement around the quarterfinals of the Champions League. They cannot pull that card too often. Otherwise, they become the boy that cries wolf. Unless they can garnish the support. And they've had a number of instances recently where they have made those statements and nothing has subsequently followed. Now, that doesn't mean people haven't tried. It means that we've been successful in thwarting it. I have a horrible feeling in my gut that we are in a similar period to where we were pre-2017, which was a notable year of a number of different attacks from Borough Market to Westminster Bridge. These were all events which hit us consecutively. And I hope that individuals are not being complacent about the risk. The threat has not gone away, despite the fact that we don't see it in the press, other than your good, esteemed publication. Many others will not focus on it. And as a result of that, people forget that we as general public also play a critical role in that counterterrorism role or solution in reporting through to the counterterrorism hotline or to the various other authorities, anything that we deem to be suspicious or out of the ordinary. We must never forget they can strike whenever they feel like it. Where these messages should be perhaps more accurately interpreted is that it is a call to arms to those that are not necessarily known. I wouldn't put it past the threat level potentially rising in the next couple of months. I think we now have to consider that we've got a number of notable events that are going to be taking place this year, many public events. And one of the things that the British government has not pushed through yet is Protect Duty, which was put together by Feig and Murray in the wake of the Manchester Arena attack, which was the obligation and requirement by public spaces and particularly by major venues to implement counterterrorism measures. With that not being in place, although many will already be adopting those procedures, with it not being imposed as legislation, this leaves potential gaps. And we know with terrorists, they will always look for the weakest link. They'll look for the path of least resistance to carrying out an attack. But I think where we really need to focus our attentions is potentially towards Paris and the Olympics, because I think that will prove to be a very challenging potential event to manage. In terms of the ecosystem of various terrorist groups that are out there, we currently have, as on the leaderboard, if you like, Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. And those are really the 5 main terrorist groups that we're hearing about. There are many others which are smaller, more fragmented, but certainly what we've seen over the last number of years is a collaboration between some of these groups. In terms of the threat level, yes, we're standing at substantial, which is about mid-range in the chart, if you like, of threat levels that we could be potentially imposed to. But where you have to measure that threat level is against a number of different factors that will contribute. And this could be from the interception of chatter between known individuals. It could be down to the resilience by the security services and their success. It could be by GCHQ, their understanding and monitoring of communications. But also it should be against other countries that are also victims of the same threat. Now, when we look at continental Europe, France is at its very highest level. Spain is at its very highest level. Germany is about mid-level like us, and likewise many other countries in Europe. I would not be that surprised if our threat level increases, because there are a number of additional factors that we also need to consider, which is the influx of illegals into this country who are generally of male fighting age. That could very well be a Trojan horse.
You've been listening to you trust them more than us. You will pay them than pay me because but you forgot that these are the same colleagues of mine that we meet at the Home Office, at the event, at Westminster, and mostly at number 10 Downing Street as journalists, and we share ideas. If you think that they're going to be talking about Yoruba Nation, no, they're not talking about Yoruba Nation. They are talking about what is their government doing without calling Jesus Christ and Anabi Muhammad. Ṣẹ́rí pé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ nísìn àgbọ̀ Jésù àgbànàbí níbẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kó jẹ́ káwọn tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa àkọ́kọ́ gbé Jésù síwájú àgbànàbí síwájú. Pretenders. We have male that are coming into Yoruba land that are jihadists. Maybe we should play back the video earlier. Tí bàbá yẹn ní àwọn tó ń rí Fúlàní ni wọ́n, and we have been saying this that àìbáwọn ẹ̀rí lẹ́yìn mi. Young men, not up to 23, 24, fully ready to kill. They are not joking. But àwa nísìn, we have taken everything as a joke. Kódà wọ́n ti sọ Yorùbá Nation. What is all the joke? That is why somebody will say at a declared country, and gullible people accept and believe that. Because kòkòrò rìn lórí wọn. Rather than our governors preparing for the danger ahead, setting up more security system across every local government. Talk about it for any state police, we can still establish the vigilante, the Amotekun, the hunters, and train them and set up security system to prevent terrorism that is happening on a daily basis. Boko kan lówó torí olówó máa mú pẹ̀lú every security. Mẹ̀kúnnù ló máa jẹ̀yà tó pọ̀ jù nínú ẹ̀. Let's play that video one more time from the one that the attack that took place in Shagamu just a few days ago, where innocent people were caught up in between kidnapping and paying ransom. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tó Sunday mú bọ̀.
Lánàá láfter 5 náà dá wa dúró tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní yìnbọn wọ́n pààyàn kan gan. Àwa méje náà kó wọnú gbọ́ àwọn Fúlàní. AK-47 ní gbogbo wọn gbé dání. Wọ́n gbé wa lọ núgbó. Wọ́n á mú wa débì kan, wọ́n á ní kí gbogbo á jókòó. Adúró wọn ń bèrè èmi kẹrí pé wọ́n ń sọ Haúsá mo wá sọ Haúsá sí wọn pé kó jọ kó ṣàánú mi kó ẹ̀bùn mi kó má ṣe nǹkan kan fún mi wọ́n bá sọ fún mi pé kémi má wọrí pé ṣé má là ní mi ni mo ní mi ṣe Haúsá wọ́n ní bò mo ti gba Haúsá mo ní mo gbé ní north wọ́n ní bò mo ní mo gbé ní Kebbi ní Jẹ̀gà àti Sokoto mọ́ ẹ láwọn ọmọ Mẹ̀dúgùrí nìyẹn bàtí wọ́n á tún mú wa kó onúgbìn àwa ń lọ òru ní gbogbo ìgbà tí mò ń sọ yẹn o àwa ń lọ wọ́n á tún dá wa dúró wọ́n bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní mú fóònù wa jáde pé ta ló ní fóònù eléyìí wọ́n á mú small phone mo lé mi ni wọ́n á láwọn máa fi mí lẹ̀ pé ṣùgbọ́n ṣòwò wà lápò mi mo ní mo lówó lọ́wọ́ mo egbó yẹn jáde 100,000 kan 3,000 kan àti fóònù mi wọ́n yẹn gbà nìyẹn ẹnì kejì tọ́jọ́ fi wálẹ̀ yíbò ni ìyẹn ń wá tírélà ìyẹn ní wọ́n yẹn mú un báyìí náà ti gba 120 lọ́wọ́ òun àwọn méjèèjì yẹn wọ́n yẹn ní káwa kó sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ báyìí àwọn márùn-ún yòókù fóònù wọ́n bá yẹn rí fóònù lọ́wọ́ yàn wọ́n yẹn ń dájọ́ ẹ̀ wọ́n wá ń sọ fáwọn yẹn pé you have 30 million ìyẹn ní I don't have but I will try wọ́n kọ́ àwọn yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ó kọ́ di ẹ̀kọ́ náà lórí ó kọ́ ni you move dey go we release you bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àti ibo yẹn ṣe kọ́ sínú igbó yẹn nìyẹn bá ṣe ń lọ nínú igbó ètò wa rọ́nà jáde síta nígbà tí máa jáde síta báyìí mo wá ń trace ọ̀nà ẹ padà mo ṣàìrí àwọn èrò onísàlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ àtàwọn area commander àti DPO gbogbo wọn kún bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ti ń tó àwọn mọ́tò yẹn lọ mo yẹ ní èmi mo ní mọ́tò eléyìí o àwọn kékeré àbá mo ṣàì jáde nìyẹn o wọ́n yẹ dá mi jókòó nìyẹn wọ́n á ní wà mọ́tò lè ká lọ station wọ́n gba statement wọ́n ṣẹ̀ wà fún mi lẹ̀ mo wá ń gbọ́nà èkó lọ tí mo fi lọ já ọjà yẹn.
ok wọ́n release mọ́tò tẹ̀yìn fún yín tí wọ́n pa anybody rẹ̀.
wọ́n pààyàn.
wọ́n ti pààyàn.
sínú lẹ́kṣọ̀sì èèyàn yẹn wà nú ẹ̀.
Yorùbá àbí Ìgbò.
Ìgbò.
lọ pa. èèyàn mélòó wá kó wọgbó ń sìn.
àwa méje náà kó wọgbó.
wọ́n wá fẹ́ yín mélòó lẹ̀.
àwa méjì.
èyí méjì lọ fi lẹ̀.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
tó àwọn èèyàn sì wà nù gbóǹsì.
wọ́n wà nù gbóǹbẹ̀. wọ́n ń bèrè ransom money lọ́wọ́ wọn.
ìgbà tẹ́ ń ṣàlàyé lẹ́yìn ìgbà òkè bóyá sọ pé wọ́n ti fi gbogbo àwọn tó kù lẹ̀.
àwa méjì náà fi sílẹ̀.
kì í ṣe gbogbo yín náà fi lẹ̀.
àwa méjì péré náà àwa méje.
àwọn méjì àwọn bíi márùn-ún sì wà nínú
gbó. wọ́n wà nínú gbó yẹn.
wàhálà.
Yorubaland in danger. 2 hours into the program, 8 minutes past 2 hours we've done already. My name is Koiki, and we are looking into insecurity. What is our governors doing, and what more can they do to prevent more attacks on innocent lives? Our governors might not agree with self-determination. Our governors might not agree with us to the dissolution of Nigeria. But it is their right to protect and prevent the atrocities and the crime committed by these marauders, Fulani terrorists across Yorubaland today. And this is why we are telling our governors across Yorubaland today to do more to prevent the crime committed by these criminals. And as you can see, all the headline coming out of Nigeria doesn't seem to be very good. Banditry is now business venture for government officials, security agency. This is by Katsina State Governor. A 46-year-old Nigerian law professor was killed by bandits in Banditry State. An associate professor from the Faculty of Law at Prince Udu Abubakar University, Kogi State, Dr. Sarinu Etokabo, was killed by terrorists about a week ago and will be buried today, Saturday, at Buloko Basa in Dakima local government area of Kogi State. Another headline: gunmen kill Kaduna community head, set houses ablaze after cutting away property. According to the member of a community who pleaded for anonymity, the victim was later discovered by the gunmen who slaughtered him and set the house ablaze. Gunmen have killed Malam Kabiru Mohammed, the village head of Maka in Damamisa Ward, Makafi local government area of Kaduna State, setting his house ablaze. Gunmen kidnapped popular Archbishop, wife, son, 4 other clergies in Anambra State. A group of gunmen has kidnapped a popular archbishop in Anambra State, Uka Osim of the Brotherhood of the Cross and Star. We are not aware of officials packing Lagos residents in buses to Osun State. My question is, how did we get to where Lagos State governor authorized people to be moved out of Lagos State that are Yoruba origin back to Osun State? But it seems that the Nigerian police is now saying that we are not aware. So who is aware and who authorized it? One of the youth who said he was taken away by the Nigerian police at his place of work on Friday afternoon narrated his ordeal to Sahara Reporter. The Nigerian Police Lagos State Command on Saturday claimed that it was not aware nor were its operatives involved in packing some residents of the state back to Osun State. According to Sahara Reporter earlier on Saturday, exclusively reported how the Nigerian police force in conjunction with the Lagos State Task Force packed hundreds of residents and young people from the street of the state on Friday, dumped them back to Osun State. How did this happen? How did we get to where one common Yoruba kúrò nílẹ̀ Yoruba tó lọ ń dump wọn padà sí another state? Yet we have Fulani terrorists all over the place. Sultan of Sokoto is now telling Tinubu that Nigerians are in a hurry to see a positive change. But the same Sultan of Sokoto kept mute when Buhari committed crime against genocide by killing innocent Nigerian people. But Sultan of Sokoto is now saying to Tinubu, "Ó mà ti ń pẹ́ jù. You promise people hope, but it seems that this hope is fading away." But Sultan of Sokoto must be reminded that under the former Fulani president, the most saddest president we've ever had, the one that collapsed every part of the Nigerian economy, the one that Sultan of Sokoto was excited that Fulani terrorists were coming in their drove because the border was open, is now saying to Bola Tinubu that Nigerians are in a hurry to see a positive changes. Sultan of Sokoto is telling Tinubu. But let's remind Sultan of Sokoto that under his belt, Buhari killed 29,000 innocent Yoruba people. Sultan of Sokoto did not ask why Fulani terrorists marauding themselves as herders that were killing innocent people, disturbing us. And as we read from that interview by ISIS will attack Britain, we can see that many of us are sleeping in darkness. One day, you would all pray that we shouted so much, but because of the hatred that many of you have for Igboho and Baba Akintoye, the hatred that you have for the Yoruba campaigners, the hatred for the fact that we are waking up minds of people that they are all in danger, yet those dangers are getting closer on a daily basis. Wednesday night, as some of us were going to bed, Fulani terrorists were attacking our people in Ile-Epo after Abule Egba. Millions of businesses and trades were destroyed. We've read and we've saw that people have now become tradeless. They don't have the money to start everything all over again. But Sanwo-Olu is more than happy to move people from Lagos State back to Osun State when we have terrorists that have become sleeper cells across Yorubaland. I pity Yoruba people that keep saying we should keep quiet and focus on how Tinubu will revive Nigeria and hopefully restructure Nigeria. You can curse and abuse us. Like I always say, I can only pray for my family and your family, but my personal self, I am 3,000 miles away from Nigeria. But we are not that selfish. We are concerned that why should Yoruba people be moved out of Lagos State back to Osun State when we have criminal elements that are moving around on a daily basis without being challenged. I hope one day every one of us will wake up to the reality of the danger that we found ourselves. As we prepare to bring you back into the full screen, let me remind you that we are only playing our part, and we hope that one day many of you will appreciate that we spoke out, we supported everything to create the awareness of the crime committed by these Fulani terrorists. As you can see from this particular Vanguard newspaper of February 13, 2021, with the headline, "Criminal herdsmen have killed 4,000 farmers in Southwest in 6 years." 4,000 people that are meant to be alive were killed because Buhari allowed them to penetrate, even though he told us that he can now return back to his own village, where he will continue to look after his cow. Remember the program we did last week. Some of you don't share this program. Some of you don't even bother to even look into it, because for you, it is not worth watching, but you are more than welcome to watch porn movie and other things with your data. Buhari was fighting for the right of the Palestinian people. I gave you the evidence. I showed you how Buhari went to the first United Nations Summit in September 2015 and cried for the peace and the love of the Palestinian Muslims to be given the right to their own country. Yet the same Buhari could not protect and defend the lives of millions of our people back in Nigeria. He went further in 2017, repeated the same thing, but then added more to it. He was not just asking for the right of the Palestinian people, he was also asking for the right of those known as the Rohingya people to be free. Remember that Buhari destroyed Nigeria. Many lives continue to be lost, but we will not stop talking. Farmers can no longer go to their farm because farms have been destroyed. We are now saying to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, let us negotiate our way out. The Meyati Allah continue to say that Igboho should be arrested because he is asking for Oduduwa nation. But they are part of the genesis and the creation of the problem that we are facing today. Yes, we will not be tired. We will not be relented. We will continue to say to our kings to please. They've done the summit, but what next after this summit? Nothing seems to be coming out again. We know that the theme of that summit, known as the 2024 Yoruba Security Summit, spoke about kidnapping, banditry, overcoming the twin. Igboho spoke in that summit, but the question is, when are they going to give us the order to go after these criminals that have created problems and problems in Nigeria? Many of you expect Nigeria to work. I can tell you, your failure is your dream that Nigeria working is never going to happen. Nigeria is as dead and nothing will bring it back alive. Rather than bring it back alive, we will continue to bury it on a daily basis with credible intelligence and information, which many of you know, but we will continue to remind you. If you think that you are free from those dangers, what about those that are not free? Remember that today, it might be me or it might be you, but one thing is, the Constitution that Bola Tinubu continued to say he will use to govern Nigeria, we know that that Constitution, he will not be able to do much with it, because that Constitution itself is not valid. That Constitution will not protect you, will not protect even Tinubu himself. As I say all the time, we are playing our role. Let everyone within the Yoruba territory play their role.
If the Constitution maintains by Section 2 that Nigeria is one indissoluble nation and doesn't provide for means or procedure by which a people or a particular sector of the nation, a federating people, can choose to say at this particular point we want to have a nation of our own, and it doesn't provide for a peaceful means by which this can be guaranteed, there will always be frictions that will be leading to violence, killings, and bloodshed. And to avoid this, it is imperative that we look at that provision of Section 2 that says that Nigeria is one indissoluble, indestructible entity that doesn't make provision for the procedure by which a people can advance the right to self-determination. There have been many occasions where, on so many occasions we hear from the Arewa People's Congress or whatever agitating that yes, if Nigeria cannot work, they want to go on their own. The Biafra agitators are there. We have the Odua nation and what have you. If the Constitution provides for a procedure to determine peacefully whether a people can separate from Nigeria. You see that some of these agitations might be completely quenched. For instance, let me give you one. Tomorrow now, if we provide for referendum or plebiscite, these are political procedures for determining whether a nation or a nation in a country, because I want to take the definition of a nation here to mean the ethnic nationalities, maybe the Yoruba nation, the Igbo nation, the Arewa nation, or Ijo, Ibiobio, and what have you. Now, if a people can be entitled to right to call for plebiscite that can be supervised by international organs like the United Nations and what have you, it can be safely and easily determined that, okay, these people in this particular area as done in 1960, in 1959-60, if my recollection is right, with the people of the southern part of Cameroon, who formed part of Nigeria before, but when they decided that no, they wanted to be on their own, then a plebiscite was conducted, and they were able to have a separate nation of their own. If we say Nigeria is an indissoluble entity and will not tolerate any agitation by which people can determine whether they want to be on their own, definitely we are only calling for crisis on our own earth. Tomorrow now, if you subject it to plebiscite, that okay, people of the Igbo nation should decide whether they want to be part of Nigeria or they want to have a nation of their own. You might find a situation that the majority may say they prefer to be in Nigeria rather than having a Biafra. And that will silence the people who are agitating. And if people who are agitating are in the majority by virtue of the plebiscite, why not allow such to just take place peacefully, so that there is no sense in remaining one single entity by force that may lead to bloodshed and what may even be characterized as genocide, because a situation where that is allowed, then we have descended below the level of humanity. So these are some of the provisions. Going to the political level, to some of the political angle that may require some intervention.
Yesterday, as many of you might not be aware, like I said to you all the time, this is the only platform that keeps you up to date of what is happening, that links with self-determination around the world, because that is the job that we study, and that is what we do best. Let me start with this, but this is just an old video. But yesterday in Scotland, millions of the Scottish people came out one time again, and one thing they were asking for is the right of the Scottish people to exit Britain, because they are no longer comfortable to live with the British as one country. But the Yoruba people, that we continue to say that we should all come under one block, under the leadership of Professor AKINTOYE, and demand that our right to self-determination should be respected. Like I said, I will probably even give you the current video, because sometimes that might be better than giving you the old video. So what you're going to be watching in the next couple of minutes, a couple of videos that came from Scotland yesterday. When we say to you support the media, you do not support the media, we cannot travel to Scotland without funding. I would have been there yesterday, but since I don't have the money, I decided to stay back and watch events from just as you are going to be watching it with me right now. But if we have the funding, I would have traveled to Scotland and I would have brought it live to you, as many of you would have followed the proceeding of the Scottish people. They have everything from good health care, they have security, even though there's a threat level, as we read earlier, as substantial. They have good welfare, they have education, they have many benefits that they got from their government. They have their own parliamentary system. But yet, as at yesterday, millions of them were back again on the street, demanding for one thing, and one thing alone, all under one banner: the revolution campaign. And that is the Twitter handle of the X, in case you want to follow them. Like I said, if we have had the money, I would have traveled to Scotland yesterday ahead of that event. But when we say support the media, you probably think that you are not going to support, but that means that we can only show you right from the same thing that was sent to us. as we follow them on their Twitter handle. The X, yes, is known. It is called the All Under One banner at AUOB now. You can follow them so that many of you will be inspired. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín tẹ́ bá ń rí àwọn kan báyìí. Ẹ lè rí i pé ìwọ tó tẹ̀ tó yẹ pé ìyà ń jẹ nínú Nàìjíríà. Tá à ń sọ fún pé Nàìjíríà ò work. Ó sì ń sọ pé Nàìjíríà máa work. Àwọn ará Scotland gan tí Scotland ń work fún. Wọ́n náà wọ́n ṣe mọ́. Wọ́n ní àjọṣepọ̀ àwọn àti England tó ń pè ní United Kingdom. Ó ti dán mọ́rán àwọn ò ṣe mọ́. Into them fight fún ni. The revolutionary campaign of marches and rallies for an independent Scotland marching all under one banner for independence now. This event took place yesterday. I was aware of it, but nígbà tá a bá ní support media, nobody supporting. Àwọn tó ń ṣe, we are thankful, but it's not enough. If I was meant to travel to Scotland, at least it would have cost me nothing less than £150, including my accommodation and feeding. But since we don't have £150, I'm not going to borrow that money because mo fẹ́ project àwọn Scottish people tó fẹ́ lọ. It's entirely up to every one of us that one day you will understand that media is the only work that can be used to project Yoruba nation, especially those that are dedicated. So let's see some of the events that took place yesterday from Scotland. You can see their banners. You can see their flags raising high. And one thing they say is freedom for Scotland. And they also went further to say freedom for Palestinians. Òfin ìpamọ́ sọ pé freedom for Yoruba people. No, wọ́n ní sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ because we are not there yet for them to be asking for our own freedom. Àwa la máa kọ́kọ́ kígbe ara wa síta káwọn tó wá ràn wá lọ́wọ́. These are some of the images. Independent now, all under one banner. Also asking for the ceasefire. You can see them in this town coming out in their numbers. Àtàrúgbó àtàgbàlagbà. Tábà ní kọ́mọ Yorùbá kó jáde, a ní ṣe bóun ò gbé ní Nàìjíríà, ṣèbí London ló wà tí à ń jáde ní gbogbo ìgbà. How many of you refuse to come out? Ẹlòmíràn àtẹ give excuse, I know wọ́n lọ síbi iṣẹ́. These are even with their dogs that came out yesterday. Yes, according to the national paper, the Scottish paper. Yes, supporters gathered in Glasgow for a major independent march and rally. Tó bá jẹ́ pé mo ní ẹ jẹ́ a jáde ká ṣe rally ní UK. Many people will give excuses because as far as they're concerned, they are not in Nigeria and it's not going to affect them. Sori ìwọ tó wà Nigeria, má listen sáwọn yẹn. Just remember that the Scottish people are also demanding to exit UK. Yes, supporters have a march across Glasgow today, which was yesterday, for a major rally for the Scottish independence. Scottish independence. The same thing tí Yorùbá ń béèrè fún, òun náà làwọn náà ń béèrè fún. The event was hosted by All Under One Banner. It's the second independent march of 2024 and the fourth march in the group's history. Thousands, wọ́n sọ pé hundreds, thousands turn out. But you can see yourself in the crowd as people were waving their flags. Ẹgbọ́n kan tẹ́lẹ̀ kan sí bíbá end the union. Èmi ò mọ tó ń jàǹfààní nínú Nàìjíríà tó fẹ́ parẹ́ sínú Nàìjíríà. Àwọn tó ń tẹ̀ ń jàǹfààní gan wọ́n ní end the union. Àjọṣepọ̀ àwọn àti UK ó ti dánmọ́rán àwọn ṣe mọ́. Àwọn fẹ́ dá dúró, àwọn fẹ́ control resources wọn, àwọn fẹ́ máa ṣayé ara wọn, àwọn fẹ́ máa ní gbogbo ohun táwọn máa ní. I will show you the videos. But I am just still showing you the images. You will hear the sound of the Scottish people coming out and demanding that it is time for them to exit the union. It might not happen today, but they've started the journey. Ẹlòmíà tẹ̀ máa sọ fún wa pé kò ní wá sí ìmúṣẹ. Listen to some of those sounds. Many of you don't know the meaning of freedom. Púpọ̀ nínú you understand it, and I just pity you. Around tó jáde, you can see them in large numbers. You can see them àtẹni tó wà lórí wheelchair. You can see that beautiful woman on the wheelchair. Ó lé ìtàn fún ní every week bó ṣe wà yẹn. You can see her right there. You can see the children, the dogs. Àwọn tí wọ́n ní life. Ìwọ tó ní life. Àwa ń pè é pé kó máa bọ̀ nínú life. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá mi, Princess Awoniyi. Both the old and the young were out demanding for their freedom. Tá bá ṣe rally ní UK. Àwọn èèyàn sọ pé àwọn ò ní time. Wọ́n náà wọn ò lè jáde. No problem. But one thing is, I hope that it will not be too late. Ṣẹ́rí pé wọ́n ń gbé flag Palestinian is because the damage and the collateral tí Israel ṣe fún wọn ló ń jẹ́ káwọn èèyàn máa react. Àwọn òde stage yẹn a ṣe negotiate. But nígbà táwa náà bá wà ní irú stage bẹ́ẹ̀ táwa ti fẹ́ government tá à ń jà tó di gbàsgbòs tó dorí M1. Ìgbà yẹn làwọn náà máa sọ pé yes àwọn lè gbà wá gbé òun sókè. But àwa la máa kọ́kọ́ ṣípá kẹ́nì kankan tó bá yín ṣípá. Tó bá sọ pé ò ní ṣípá, ò ní kí ọ̀kan wá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣípá, you're wasting your time. And that is why we are grateful to someone like Professor ADEBANJI AKINTOYE for giving us the hope that the Yoruba people will be free, not like the Afenifere that are not sure what they want. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka some of the headline that came out again 4 hours ago from this same X handle. It says here, and I quote, "It is high time for the removal of the British state nuclear bombs. Scotland is endangered by having them sighted on its shores. The Scots are not protected by these deadly military bases." Ǹjẹ́ ń gbọ́ pé America àti France wọ́n fi wá establish military base sí Nigeria? Maybe you are not aware. I am telling you that now. Wọ́n prepare láti gbé military base wá. Ẹ rántí pé Niger ti lé wọn dànù. Wọ́n fi wá lo Nigeria nísìnyí as the next military base. Whether Tinubu will agree, I don't know. But that is not good for us if you don't know. But we will be once, the Scots are not protected by these deadly military bases. But we will be once we have an independent country and can determine our own affairs. This is the reason why that's in supported by Yoruba Nation. So that we can determine our own affairs. But many Yoruba people expect that APC ló máa determine affairs ní all these your criminal bastard politicians tó ní ṣoríire níbi tí gbogbo wọn wà lẹ́yìn kankan. While the Scottish people continue to push for their freedom, àwa wà níbi pé wọ́n ní ká lọ máa dìbò every 4 years. All the 6 incidents are actually of potential for radioactive release. Demanding Scottish independence is one and as demanding a nuclear-free Scotland. Desiring a nuclear-free Scotland is one and the same as desiring Scottish independence. Tá a bá ní rí Fúlàní mọ́ lórí ilẹ̀ wa, we must ask for independence of Yoruba nation, not restructuring. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín orí yín ti gbálẹ̀ ẹ̀ ní understanding. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń ṣàlàyé fún yín pé àwọn ìlú tó tẹ̀ ní kìmí wọ́n náà wọ́n fẹ́ lọ. Thank you to all the our campaigners for making the Gaza genocide an issue, forcing some speakers to mention Palestinian for the first time ever. The freedom of the Palestinian is indelible, linked to our freedom in Scotland. Wọ́n sọ pé freedom of Palestine ó wà linked pẹ̀lú freedom tiwa, ìyẹn tàwọn Scottish people. Chief Mandela agreed with me last week when he lent support to our flotilla. How do we gain support? Is continued engagement, negotiation, and also having visibility. But nígbà tá a lówó tá a fẹ́ fi ṣe rally, tá a bá pe rally nísìnyí, ṣe rò pé kò ní cost wa lówó. Koiki gbà ọ̀lẹ́ máa ṣe rally Nàìjíríà, owó lọ́ máa fi ṣe rally kò ń ṣàgbàdo. Bá a tẹ̀ fún gbogbo yín lówó, ó láwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kan máa náwó lé lórí. So no rally is going to happen until you contribute to donate to YSDM. So for now, lẹ́tà lásán la sì kọ sí Tinubu, bó bá dá wa lóhùn déédéé, bọ́lọ́run bá jẹ́ kó dá wa lóhùn. But àwọn Scotland, freedom for Scotland, freedom for Palestinians. All these came out yesterday as they did their second rally in the month of January. Àwọn tí ṣe rally lóòótọ́, àwọn ilé ní owó tó wọ́n níbi tó ń dáwó sí. March for Independence. I knew about it. Àti pariwo títí, ẹ support. I would have loved to travel. Maybe the next one, if I have enough money to go. If otherwise, we will just do the presentation like this. We are just less than 30 minutes. This program is not going to be 3 hours. I just want maybe 1 or 2 people to join the conversation, but not for too long. If you want to call in, the number is +4474 044059117. Do not take me out of my conversation today. The conversation is insecurity, the Yoruba under threat, what is our governors doing, and the Scottish independence. I am not interested in any other areas that you might want to talk about. We focus on the conversation because and like I said, at exactly just under we're 2 hours 38 minutes, then we will wind down just before 3 hours onto the program. So you can also call in and give me your take into the conversation before we wind down. Once again, the Scottish people, we love you for doing what you're doing. You are encouraging us, the Yoruba people, as we continue to push for our right to self-determination. Self-determination no kì í ṣe offense. Our right is self-determination and nobody will stop that right. Let's take the first caller, and like I said, do not take me away from the conversation. Agboyin Egbosoke.
Contribution yẹn wà very important. Very wise here. Wọ́n ti pọ́jọ́ ọlọ́run kọ́ńtìdé kọ́ńtìdá contribute. Bójú $1 ní bójú $2 ní lórí ikú ètò ìlànà ìfúnni ká contribute tó dàgbà lè yàn á lè plan ahead. Kọ́jọ́ ọlọ́run. Òun ṣe púpọ̀ díẹ̀ náà ọlọ́run á ṣe ìyanu. Ẹ ṣe gan-an mo appreciate.
Thank you so much. The contribution to YSDM is not to me. It is the central body. I want a central body. If you do not accept and believe in YSDM, you might as well say, "Okay, which time are you? I'm going koikimedia," because òun ni Baba Akintoye fi òǹtẹ̀ sí, kò ń ṣe ti Dúpẹ́ Onítìrì, kò ń ṣe ti any other platform. Any other group might have their own account or operate, but we expect you to donate into the YSDM. It is the only authentic Yoruba central account. Kò sí account number kankan tó fẹ́ send anybody. So I'm not sending any account number. Anybody tó bá ń send account number to the YSDM is a fraud. You go there on the website, you can do the donation easily there. It is as easy as many of you operate online. So it is not something that is difficult to do. If I then find it difficult to do, you can always call someone within your family. Mo fẹ́ sanwó sínú àkáǹtì yìí, mo fẹ́ fún wọn ní $3, mo fẹ́ fún wọn ní $5, mo fẹ́ fún wọn ní $5 Canadian. Let us make it the mandate. Like I said, olórí burúkú Dúpẹ́ ló kó yọ́yọ́ tiẹ̀ dé tó ní kó má dáwó, gbogbo owó tó dá ọmọ bí tó kó sí, gbogbo nonsense tó gbé wá. Wọ́n ti ṣe tán máa ṣe tán nísìnyí, gbogbo wọn ti rí pé Game Boy ni. They have nothing to offer. They've actually tried to destroy the movement, but the movement remained upright and standing firm. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí i. As we are winding down the program from my end here, I hope the first Sunday will give us joy. This month will give us prosperity. Happy birthday in advance to everyone celebrating in the month of May. And I say happy birthday to Omobori Owo, one of the Yoruba World Media, and also the Vice Chairman of the Yoruba World Media. We say happy birthday to you from here. Happy birthday to many of you that will be celebrating in the month. Oba Solomon Mokinyi, happy birthday, and I know that you stand when it comes to Yoruba Nation and all the advice you have given as well. Moki gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko pé Ọba Elédùmarè kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀. We are not going to give up. We will continue to keep the message going. Ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí the outfit that I'm putting on, you can go on their website www.omoluabiapparel. Èèyàn kan náà lọ síbẹ̀ pé àwọn rí kankan order. I'm not too sure why, but I'm sure that the website is fully working in good operation. I'm going to bring Bishop in, but like I said, we are very limited with time. So go ahead, Bishop, and let's hear from you quickly. Go ahead, Bishop. You're live already. You're live. You're into the program. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, based on the security aspect, àwọn èèyàn wa tí ní understanding yìí yẹ kó yé based on what Chief Sunday have said, that we are the one that have responsibility to set up security outreach for ourselves without waiting for any government. Now, people's challenge will be, how are we going to fund it? Now, that is structure is so easy. You have streets, you start from the streets. 1 street, 2 street, 3 street, like 5 streets, they form CDA, long way. And especially in Lagos, they've imbibed the structure. That's what they use. In Ogun State, some of them too have started imbibing the structure. But I've not known much about Oyo, Ibadan, Ondo and Ekiti like that. But Lagos, Ogun State already have imbibed into the structure without waiting for government. When you have 5 or 7 streets, that is a CDA. Now that CDA has a chairman. Àwọn landlord tó wà ní gbogbo street márààrún or méjèèjì, wọ́n máa ṣe meeting lẹ́ẹ̀kan lóṣù and they will have a chairman. In which they also rapport with bí kábíyèsí tó wà ní gbogbo tó jọba lórí gbogbo region yẹn. Now àwọn street márùn yẹn àbí méje yẹn that form that CDA contribute security money. Gbogbo àwọn ilé tó wà ń bẹ̀ ló ń contribute with either monthly or some can even contribute for a year. So that CDA has a security force. Now, nínú owó security yẹn ni wọ́n ti gba what they call some they call them unloaded, some they just call it security. Only down Mary ni wọ́n gbà. Some of them are security around that vicinity tó ń gbé ní area bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn míì wọ́n gba security company, professional security company. Wọ́n gba àwọn mẹ́rin, wọ́n dẹ̀ sanwó wọn ní oṣooṣù that CDA pay. So àwọn méjì á ṣiṣẹ́ lálẹ́, àwọn méjì á ṣiṣẹ́ in the day. Then another measure is that àwọn street yẹn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe gates. See, àti wọlé street àti jáde street wọn. These are all security measures. Security is not about somebody standing wearing uniform and carrying gun. That is not security. Security is intelligence and making it difficult for a criminal to perpetrate evil. That's security. Ní àwọn street ibòmí, apart from pé wọ́n tún build gate, àwọn ṣe street light, àwọn míì gbé camera sí ẹnu street wọn. These are what the initiative from our members of the CDA. In fact, in Lagos, it is very important if you are maybe landlord or representing the landlord in an area or in the CDA. It is seen as a very responsible kind of because that's where meaningful contributions are put in place, and you people are the one using your resources to protect yourself. So it makes it difficult for insecurity to thrive in most especially Lagos State and some part of Ogun State. So these are the measures that is also in the hand of Babaji Igboho and Baba, in which they've said that people should imbibe. Don't wait for government. Don't wait for government. Leave the major route for the state government, káwọn ọlọ́pàá wọn máa patrol yẹn, but your street, your area, structure yourself. 5 streets is good, 7 streets is good. Form a CDA and appoint a chairman among yourself. Organize and contribute your security money and employ a security operative and carry out some security measures in all your streets. And then it's difficult for any insecurity to just freely come into your area. Like some gates, they put time there, 10 o'clock. From 10 o'clock, they lock the gate. If you want to enter, you have to be checked. It's not that you won't enter, but you will have to be checked. You are driving in, they will check you. So these are secure, and the CDA, which is the people who organize the landlords associations of the 5 or 7 streets who organize themselves, fund and take care of. Everybody in Lagos is already structured that way, and if you are paying out rent in Lagos, you pay security money, John. It is like that, because from that they will contribute to the CDA to protect the area. So these are structures, and it's not necessarily to go and to now glorify one particular security and call it so and be looking for gun for them. No. Leave that for state government, but for security you can protect yourself first before the rest. Government will do the rest. So pertaining to security, these are the things that I have to remind and tell our people to beef up. And what is happening to some of our people in some places, irresponsibility. You see a whole market like àwọn tí wọ́n ní àwọn Fúlàní wọ ọjà àwọn gbàgbàgbà, wọ́n pa àwọn ṣe àwọn èèyàn léṣe, wọ́n dẹ̀ lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní sọmọ. This is what is called irresponsibility. At least ọjà ní bàbá lọ́jà, ó ní ìyá lọ́jà. Wọ́n ní àwọn gidi gan tó jẹ́ àwọn tó jẹ́. Now tí àwọn Fúlàní kan bá tiẹ̀ wá bẹ̀ wá dá ọjà ń pa. I'm not talking about the one that was born in Lagos State. I'm talking about the one that has happened before now in Oyo State. At least those Fulani that came, at least none of them should at least one láàrin gbogbo èyí tó pa àwọn Fulani mẹ́rin came and caught people and caught Lani, and the only thing people can now do is to now be cameraing, shouting, "Go come and help us." I mean, you are joking. I mean, it's so funny. What was that? And the funniest thing is they go to police station showing that to police, they caught them, and police at the end of that's where it ends. So these are irresponsibility. No government, nobody says that it is only police that will protect you. You have the responsibility to protect yourself first. Especially in Nigeria. Especially in Nigeria where there is no security for anybody. So you have that responsibility. That's what I want to bring out. You have that responsibility to protect yourself first. Thank you.
Well, Ole ti gbọ́ kí a tó máa mọ́tò wálé mú kí gbogbo alẹ́ kan sí pé a kú ìsinmi ẹ̀ní. I guess tomorrow is bank holiday. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the rest of the week ahead. Let us be security conscious. I'm about to sorry. Lórí títí lẹ́tà àdúgbò, it can be protected. But the band drive, I don't know how you're going to protect yourself, because ẹni tó bá jáde títí tó kó bọ̀ síta tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí yìnbọn, it will be very difficult, to do whatever needs to be done to be able to rescue yourself. So we hope that our governors will put out more patrol. Our governors will increase the level of awareness within the community. They have the Commissioner for Information. They have the money. I don't have what it takes like our governors. So their responsibility is there to protect our own people. But in terms of the Yoruba self-determination Katuma law, our own responsibility is to contribute into the portal of the YSDM, so that when the right time comes, they can start projecting the next move in terms of rallies, awareness, and many other things that will be needed, especially as we know. I can confirm to you that there's a lot of work behind the closed door as the preparation for Igboho coming into the UK is already on top gear. I can tell you that. A date has been set. I'll be telling you those dates as when it's coming up. We will be needing your support as well financially to be able to get what needs to be done here in UK. But the team that are preparing such, we were still in a meeting yesterday. I could tell you that Igboho is coming to UK this year. Like what alone, it's going to be fantastic. There will be a dinner, there will be rallies, and all that is happening this year. So the work is already ongoing, with some of the teams that I'm involved in as well. So I'll be telling you more about that, and many other will be telling you, especially the world media. But one thing is, we need you at home to be vigilant. There's not much we can do to support you that telling you to be vigilant, security conscious. I want to attack me. I think this was Friday. It was at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is not 6 p.m. It's not 7 p.m. 5 p.m. is just like morning. But these people operate because they have weapons. And like they said, not even the police or the military can stop them. So we hope that one day we will be able to stop them if we have the all clear from our orbers that gives the authorization for us to do so. But for now, don't expect Igboho to be running into the forest. It is entirely up to us to protect our environment, especially do what you can do with them. That's all I can say. They are the ones that can go after these criminals with the little resources that they have. We hope that more resources can be provided by your governors. Our governors, your responsibility is still to look after the citizens. My job is to bring you up to date and keep you on your toes. I hope that Yoruba people that sit on Twitter space and then be speaking big grammar, our people are being massacred and killed on a daily basis. You need to understand that. So every one of us have a role to play. I am playing mine, and I hope you will play yours. Thank you so much for joining me this Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the day as we leave you again with this headline. Banditry is now a business venture for the Yoruba people. Okay, I'm just going to give you just under a minute plus because I got to go now. Go ahead quickly, Yoruba Nation now. You have 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'm going to wind you down. It's 2 hours, 54 minutes. This program is not going to go beyond 3 hours. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning wherever you are in the world. Olayomi Koiki, don't you think that, we can get some of the organizations, self-determining organizations, to write to the governors of each of the states to find out what they're doing with regards to the security of Yorubaland. Because, especially those farmers, I saw the video of the farmers. What are they doing? Why are they allowing these killings to continue? I think it's just really pathetic. I think official letters need to be written, to these governors, and let them tell us what they're doing with regards to the security.
Well, I totally agree with you, and I hope that whoever needs to write those letters should start putting those letters now, because life is at stake as we speak right now on a daily basis, and people are suffering. So we hope our governors will listen to us as we continue to enlighten our people that they have the right to also, ask the governors why there is not enough security in most of the local government across the state.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my beautiful Yoruba Nation. Now, I'm going to take one more so that we kind of balance it. Go ahead straight away. You have just 1 minute. The next speaker, please, because I got to go now. There's limited time, and we don't want to go more than 3 hours. Go ahead. You have 1 minute plus. Okay, I think that person. You're still there. Go ahead. What name is this coming out? Rabi, can you go ahead, please? You have just a minute plus. Thank you.
Thank you so much, allow you of Yoruba Nation. I would like to thank you for what you're doing for Yoruba Nation. The education that you're doing is very great, and that Yoruba people have to understand that Nigeria cannot work, and anybody who steps in you that is a die-hard Nigeria, that Nigeria will work, is an enemy of the African progress, it's an enemy of destiny, and it's one of the better slaves that want to enable our enslavement. Of course, if you must know that Yoruba is more populated than many countries in the West, and they have what it takes, they have the resources to run their nation. They have everything it takes to provide and take care of Yoruba people, both old and young. And with Nigeria, only few sides will continue to benefit to the detriment of the common people. We are here for all the common people, all the villagers, the communities who are suffering from the hands of the terrorists. God has given us victory. We continue to fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, Yoruba Nation. Now, thank you to all our audience and listeners on the Twitter space. I understand that sometimes we don't have enough time to bring people in to come and talk, but hopefully some of our next events and programs, as you know, I do come out frequently, and we always appreciate every one of you. To those of you on all the other platforms, I always say thank you so much for contributing, and those of you that have listened quietly. The whole topic today is quite emotional. You can see I've been very, very emotional, because when people are kidnapped, we don't know what is happening to them. Especially, we were told that somebody was shot dead straight away in his Lexus. The family now is thrown into a very difficult situation. It is a very sad one, and that is the reason why sometimes when we come live, we just want to get the program going without, greetings and mentioning names, because sometimes people get carried away and think this is all a joke. What we are discussing is really pertaining to life and life and life and life. And many people are dying quietly, silently, that sometimes they don't even know who to talk to. And that is why sometimes when I come out, I just want to crack it on as quickly as possible. And as you can see, time is not even waiting. The 3 hours is right on the dot. Thank you so much, everyone, once again. I'll be back again when we are back. Keep an eye on my platform. Share the program. Most importantly, follow me on the X, where conversation goes on a live event. Thank you once again. Muki Mubama Yoruba Nile Loko, Muki Musulumi, Muki Christiani. I greet all the Biafrans, all the Amazonia, the Welsh, and everyone that wants to be free, the Palestinian, and those that are already still in the bondage in Nigeria. I know that one day we will be free from the shackles of the British fraudulent amalgamation. British knew what they were doing. They created immunity among every single one of us. Yet they sit back and do nothing while the British citizen Nnamdi Kanu continue to languish in the Nigerian DSS custody. I've never seen such hypocrisy of the British. And many of us, or those of you that have the British passport, must understand that it could be you. It might not literally mean fighting for self-determination. It could just be something else that your children or yourself got caught up with, and the British might not do anything and look away. It shows the double standard of the British government. Thank you so much. Have a happy Sunday. Bye for now.